across the plains. Hope rekindles in the crimson tide, as freedom's anthem calls our names. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Fields of dreams are ripe once more. Factories hum with honest pride. Our banner waves on every shore, with courage marching by our side. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day. Through trials dark, we found our steel. The eagle's cry breaks through the night. In unity, our wounds now heal. We chase the dawn with fearless light. Great again, we rise as one, under stars that guide our way. A song of promise has begun, and strength returns in light of day.
Hey, how is everybody out there doing? How you doing, Dr. J? What's going on? What's new?
I'm doing okay. What a week. This week has gone quick, man.
It was a week, all right. Yeah. Yeah. What's up, Commander? What's up, little sister? Chris.
How are you doing?
Yeah, we'll talk later, Chris.
And how are you doing, Rich?
What's that? I'm doing.
How are you doing?
I'm doing. I caught a cold this week, and I could hardly talk for a couple of days. And some good drugs, sleep, and yeah, feeling a little better. Yeah, what's going on, guys? This week, the theme, a lot of news, but as usual, fire hose of news. But this week, the big story is not just Trump's trip to China, but how the left has completely missed what really happened. I mean, it's beyond me, because for conservatives, you're like, wow, he just pulled something off, man. So, yeah, we're going to go over that big time. So, let's see, wait for a couple more people. While you're here, guys, can you hit that like button? If you can, it gives us something to do with the algorithm. Something. All right, let's go over what we're going to go over this week. So, let's go to Jabberhouse. So let's see. Get ready. Election integrity armies are about to flood every state in the union for 2026 for the midterms, because we know the Dems are going to cheat as much as they can. So the election integrity armies are ready, and they're going to go. Here you go. Former BLM activist goes scorched earth on scam group, insists systemic racism in the U.S. isn't real. We all knew that. Used to be when the Dems ran the Klan and all that. But here you go. Not doing it very well. More internal issues for Democrats hint at big trouble for the midterm. They just can't win. There you go. See you in court. The DOJ sues Virginia over assault weapons ban. Like what they forced Northam to do. I mean, like that wasn't enough. Here's a great article. Why Dems ignore rules. They're like toddlers with vegetables. The thing that works, capitalism. Every time it's tried. Yeah, it can be brutal, but you know what? It's the best system in the world because it's moral, and I'll make my case. Anna Polina Luna, love her. She threatens the CIA after agency, get this, they seized JFK and MK Ultra files from Tulsi Gabbard's office. Are you kidding me? She's the DNI, and they stole files from her office. Oh, that's unbelievable. There we go. Georgia joins the redistricting fight after Governor Brian Kemp calls for a special legislative session. Now, I had heard just as a couple of days ago, they were like, we're not getting involved. I think he heard a hell of a lot of pushback because they cheated in 2020. They cheated twice. They cheated in the presidential, and then in the next month they cheated in the Senate race, the runoffs.
Oh, this is my shocked face.
Yeah, really. There you go. Fetterman calls out absolute socialist Seattle mayor and avowed communist Graham Plattner. He's just getting better and better. The more he heals from his stroke, the more conservative he becomes.
He has to get out of the Democrat Party.
Oh, he does. He does. Spencer Pratt took it to them directly on their network, showed up and pummeled the lies. We'll see that. Here's a little known part of the Virginia redistricting ruling Dems don't want to talk about. We're going to get into that. Netflix sued by Texas for allegedly spying on children. You know, America's fanatical left-wing mayors are a malignant threat to America, and they are. Sebastian Gorka, I love Gorka. He names Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes as possible terrorists. And I'm going to tell you something. I watched the Turley video today, and he was spot on. There's something wrong with Tucker Carlson. He has said many, many, many things about many people, and now he's being interviewed, and they're saying, well, you know, you said this. He said, I never said that. I never left my lips. What are you talking about? And then they played a video. They're like, well, I can't believe you have me on. Well, I'm going to denounce that right away. Oh, okay. Is that how it's done, Tucker? You know, I used to love him, man, but the way he's been acting lately, I don't know. Biden FBI quietly hid a Trump prosecution files for potential post-2028 case. So in other words, the damn FBI had created, in case he won, they want to go after him after 2028. So they already wrote the files up. For what? We don't know. Because everything they threw at him was lawfare. He did nothing wrong. It was all lawfare. CIA whistleblower to testify. Rand Paul's hearing threatens to unravel the government's long-running COVID cover-up. I would love to have that happen. We got to have a reckoning, guys. Things won't be right until there's a reckoning for what the hell they did to us as a nation. Why are kids getting dumber? Be a good one. I suspect it has to do with liberalism. There we go. This guy wants to be president. Gavin Newsom ripped as hearing aid debacle burns millions. Where do you hear that story? There we go. AOC. What the founding fathers would tell AOC about the American Revolution, because she doesn't know jack. She was saying that they were fighting against billionaires and all. No, sorry. The map wars just took a stunning turn, and Dems are in even more trouble. They can't even cheat now. It's that bad. BLM's demand for body cams, remember that, is the greatest backfire in history. Black Lives Matter demanded that all police departments have the GoPros, right? Well, guess what? It's harming their constituents more than anything else. FBI reports largest drop in violent crime since 1937 under Trump. Why? Because of the body cam. No, I'm kidding. All right. Trump is talking business in China, but Bannon has very different message. Bannon was like friends with Jeffrey Epstein. It says he never went to the island or anything, but he was friends with him for the financial stuff. Here's a good one. New York is not too rich to fail. It is too hostile to stay rich. Yeah, it is. That's why they're all leaving. Trump touts U.S. comeback and economic gains while responding to reported Xi comments. I'm telling you, he whooped Xi's ass in everything that matters in that visit. And the press is acting like, oh, well, Xi's got to buy some things and they work something else out. No, it's far more. Europe is becoming poor without realizing it. And you guys, our friends across the pond, man, you're going to want to hear this one. And I know you guys know it, but a lot of your guys over there don't. Taiwan becomes a flashpoint of Trump-Xi summit as Rubio warns Beijing of repercussions for an invasion. So in other words, he's like, Xi came out and warned Trump not to interfere in Taiwan when they go to take it. And Rubio throws it right back at him. Well, you invade them, and guess what? You're going to have a problem because we legally have to defend them. Legally. The Cato Institute staffer tells Congress mass deportations would be bad because we'd have to deport 20% of the largest county in Virginia. Oh, what a clown. What a clown to say that out loud.
I'm waiting for it. Here's me waiting for it.
Yeah. A British student stabbed by sick man dies because police cuffed him on suspicion of being racist instead of treating the stab wound. Can you believe this? I mean, holy crap. And I don't know why he did, because the sick guys, they don't like Muslims more than anybody, but that's what they're trying. Sorry
to all our friends across the pond, but what the fuck is going on there?
I know. It's like the guy died because police cuffed him thinking he might be racist against Muslims, and this guy's not even a Muslim, instead of treating the stab wound. That's bad. All right. Spanberger, Democrat Virginia governor admits defeat, says this year's vote will use old congressional districts. They have to. Spencer Pratt, well, plus we had to stop them because every Democrat in the land, I got to do that. And a lot of them already have really bad, like 0 Republicans in a lot of them. Spencer Pratt within single-digit territory of far-left LA Mayor Karen Bass. He shot up 12 points in 2 days. And he may win unless they cheat. No, California is known for cheating, Democrats. But unless they cheat, he should win this because he's winning the hearts and minds of people because his whole strategy is this. This is the most beautiful state in the country, but they turned it into a shithole. He didn't say the words, but they turned it into a shithole. I want to bring that back. Will you help me? Who can say no to that after all the crap that they got to put up with? Homelessness, the drugs and needles on your front step. Forget that. J.D. Vance addresses legacy media heckler over the severity of fraud in Maine. Let's see. FBI probe into horrific child predator cults keep getting bigger. Yeah, there's a lot of child predator cults out there. Trump gets big wins in China on Iran trade. They literally pulled out the red carpet. U.S. Secret Service and the press get into a tense 30-minute standoff with Chinese agents during Trump's visit. I think there was a Secret Service man that wanted to go up to a door, and the Chinese security said, "Who do you think you are?" And he said, "My boss is in there. I don't give a damn if he's in there or not." And they were about to go at it. A Democratic fantasy world. That's going to be good. The CIA whistleblower testifies that agency covered up lab leak at behest of Fauci. That's different from the other one. Mamdani brags he eliminated New York City's $12 billion budget deficit, but then a New York outlet dug into the numbers. Wait till he is the quintessential communist because he did hear what communists always do, what they always do. We cleared $12 billion. No, you caused $8 fucking billion. In 5 months, you spent $8 billion, and you were left with a $4 billion deficit. So you're the reason why it was at 12. And then he got Hochul to she caved. And that's another one of the stories. The United Arab Emirates forges a new vital alliance with the U.S. and Israel. One nation under fraud. Trump administration uncovers massive welfare and citizenship abuses. I mean, guys, this is all Democrat run, too. You don't hear of any Republicans being caught up in this shit because they're not stupid. They're not greedy. Xi warns Trump of possible conflicts if Taiwan is mishandled. Leaders agree on the Strait of Hormuz. You better believe he agrees. And Trump figured that one out too, to the betterment of the United States. And we got the whole plethora there. So let's see who's here so far. Luigi, what's up, brother? Good to see you, man. You're in Kensington right now? What are you doing in Kensington? Are you really in Kensington, Philly, Louis?
I hear that Kensington is not a good area to be in.
It is
in
not.
Philly.
It is not. It never really was. Dr. J, hope you're doing well. That's good, Carrie. Don't worry.
Yes, thank you. Carry on.
My mother thought she made up the name. And then one day when she was in the house and she had romper room on for Carrie Ann, she heard the teacher say the name Carrie Ann. You know? All right.
Yes, and Carrie Ann, I am doing better. I started on my next phase of therapy. I had my bicycle out this week, and it was a little hard, but boy, am I getting it stretched out.
Nice. All right. We're going to do down the first. Oh, you're in the Diamond State. Okay. Let's see.
Diamond State?
Yeah.
Help me out, Rich. Diamond State.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
Okay.
The Diamond State. That's why I went, yeah, okay. All right. Get ready. Election integrity armies are about to flood every state in the union, and the Dems will have their war people out there trying to stop them. The mood, let me increase this a little. The mood around American elections has really changed a lot in just a couple of years. Remember back when you couldn't even question what happened in 2020 without being mocked, smeared, or treated like some Q kook who needed to be escorted off the internet and out of society? The media and the left worked overtime. If you're hearing cracks in my voice, I had a cold all week. Okay, sorry. The media and the left worked overtime to shut down any conversation about the sketchy 2020 election, even when millions of Americans looked around and thought the whole thing smelled rotten. Nowadays, everyone's talking about it openly, but that's because, sadly, Americans no longer have faith in our elections. People want clean rolls, voter ID, secure mail-in ballot rolls, transparent counting, serious poll watching, and consequences when the system gets abused and shady. And which party, Jade, is the party that's against all that and literally fights against it?
We fight for election integrity. They fight for quote unquote election security.
Right. And
which means basically anything that advantages them. Oh, yeah.
Well, they've never met a system they've worked in, any kind of system that isn't rigged in their favor.
Yeah, that's why
the Democratic Party.
That's why, in the LA elections that we'll talk about later, they've been in power there for so long.
Oh yeah,
they've got the system mapped from.
Well, they've already called Pratt a racist and all that shit.
Oh yeah,
people are like laughing. They're like, "What are you talking about? The guy's never said a racist thing in his life." And the whole reason he's doing this is because of the mismanagement out there of the wildfires. He lost his home, and he was like, "This is enough. We've all put up with this shit long enough. Now I got to lose my home because of the incompetence of the government here." No.
Remember back in the day, if somebody pointed at you and said racist, your life was done?
Oh, yeah. Not anymore because they overused it.
Not long ago, like when I was still in the service, if some officer was accused, mind you, not actually found to have done it, accused of racism, career's over. They were never going to get a promotion again.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's the way it is. But I'll tell you what. They try to say we're the racists, but have you seen how liberals and Democrats treat black conservatives? Oh my God, they treat them like shit.
Never mind the conservatives.
Like David Harris Jr., I wrote for him, and I watched this video one time where it was David Harris Jr., Terrence Williams, Candace Owens, all that. It was everybody. They were awesome, and they were doing a show, and they called Harris a coon. These were black Democrats. And they're laughing, calling him a coon. And I was like, oh, my God, they don't know the man. And they just didn't know the man.
And they're racist at the best of times because they sing things like, oh, well, we got to treat the black people well. Who's going to clean your toilets? Who's going to pick your strawberries?
Can you imagine that? Yeah, that's what they did.
Imagine somebody saying that?
They did that about the illegals, too. Who's going to clean your toilets?
Yeah.
We are.
And then And then you look at someone like Byron Donalds,
Yeah.
who's hopefully going to be.
I hope he runs for POTUS.
I
told him to his face when I was shaking his hand, I'm going to vote for you.
Yeah, he's going to be governor of Florida.
I think he will.
Sure.
I think he will win. Yeah.
And then I hope to keep. Yeah, people say conservatives are racist. Well, why would we want nine Clarence Thomases on the Supreme Court if we're so racist?
All right, Chris. Let's see what else is going on. People don't even know the word computer, like Wi-Fi. Yeah, remember that? Remember they said that? Oh, they don't know what a computer is.
Oh, yeah, they don't have computers. Yeah.
Wait a minute. Are you insane? Oh, black people are too stupid to get a voter ID. What? They don't all have a driver's license already? Come on, really? It's so insulting. But that's what they're doing now. That kind of bullshit. That soft bigotry out in California because they don't want to lose the mayor's seat.
And that all comes from LBJ.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I know. But do you know why they don't want Pratt mostly to win? It's not that they don't give a shit about the people out there, and they obviously don't. Okay, all the things that they do, they obviously don't. It's because if Pratt wins, like when Trump won, and he fixed everything and made it look so easy when the Dems told us, well, we've been working on this for 10 years. Trump says, hold my beer, even though he doesn't drink. Hold my beer, and he gets it done in like 3 months. Come on. Yeah, companies are pushing for ID to be online, but they don't want ID to vote. Exactly. All right, moving on. And
I remember when
Trump comes in with his army. Get this. He's promising that election integrity armies will be flooding every state for the 2026 midterms. Now, that means that Mark Elias and other douchebag Democrat lawyers who their sole purpose in life is to help Democrats cheat in elections, they're going to be going to court and saying the federal government can't do this. And the court's going to come back and say, well, I'm sorry, they really can because it's a federal election, right? If you're talking about for the midterms, right, that's a federal election. And so when the federal election's in there, the federal government has the right to have election integrity. And says, and honestly, if people don't trust the process anymore, then yes, having eyes everywhere is exactly what should happen, right? Remember 2020 when they were bringing bags in on like it was like he was at the airport. We see all the bags piled up. They were all bags of votes, of ballots. They were just wheeling them in and start counting them.
Mail-in ballots that had never been folded.
Right. Oh yeah, that was in Georgia, and Susie Boyles is the one that brought that out, and she said that Brad Raffensperger's people. He was the Secretary of State, and he's a Republican, and barely, and said that it's the GBI, the Georgia Bureau of Investigations, that they had him in office for like 2 hours, badgering her, trying to get her to change her story. She was like, no, I know what I saw. And then a judge said, we're going to lock these up until after this other case I'm working on gets done on election integrity. Then we're going to bring them in. Well, suddenly the security cameras in the warehouse, the same warehouse that you saw with pictures of Tulsi in there not long ago, right? When the FBI descended upon Fulton County. Well, they broke the seals, went in, and stole all those mail-in ballots with no folds in them. They stole them, right? Because contrary to what legacy media thinks, trust isn't restored by telling voters to sit down and shut up. The way you restore trust is by admitting the system should be watched, challenged, verified, and protected at all costs. But of course, the media still frames Trump's election integrity push exactly how you'd expect them to. They treat basic oversight as some sinister threat, while casually reminding readers that Trump's concerns about election fraud are debunked. No, they're not. Not even close. From The Independent. President Donald Trump announced Sunday the Republicans' plan to dispense a large election integrity army to every single state for the 2026 midterms, invoking his debunked claims that the United States does not have fair elections. Here's the evidence.com. Just go there. Spend 8 days reading all the evidence. In a message on but do it after this stream. In a message on his Truth Social platform, the president appeared to attribute his historic election in 2024 to the fact that the Republican National Committee sent thousands of volunteers across the country to poll watch or assist with election litigation through a volunteer program. That is so true, okay? And so many states had already put out election integrity laws. Now, that's why he won by such a big margin, because they couldn't cheat as bad as they did in 2020. Quote, during my historical, I love how he says, during my historic election in 2024, when I won every single swing state and decisively won both the electoral and popular votes by wide margins, the Republicans had an election integrity army in every single state to preserve the sanctity of each legal vote. We will be doing the same again in 2026, but it will be much bigger and stronger. Trump did not elaborate on who would be part of the election integrity army or how large it would be. He doesn't have to tell you because you're a scumbag news magazine. All right, back to the real news. Trump is doing what the majority of Americans believe in, which is manpower, organization, poll watching, legal backup, and a serious presence in every state. After all, Dems have never been shy about using lawyers, activists, outside groups, ballot operations, courts, and pressure campaigns to shape their little election battlefield. Seriously, they treat elections like war rooms. Republicans are finally acting like they understand the game, which is refreshing. That's all we need to do for that.
No, Republicans are starting to act like they grew a set.
Yeah. What's up, Bobby? Good to see you, brother. How you doing, man? Let's say it's because white liberals need slavery. Need every excuse to cheat. That's so correct. Let me see.
Well, I could put it another way. They don't need any excuse to cheat.
That is right.
They cheat and lie just to stay in practice.
Yeah, they do. Let me see. Am I missing anybody? Wow, where's everybody from across the pond? Something must be going on. Yeah, there must be something else going on. All right. Let's see. What are we going to bring up now? Here we go. Activist. Here we go. New York Post. Former BLM activist goes scorched earth on scam group, insists systemic racism in U.S. isn't real. A former Black Lives Matter activist turned conservative influencer blasted the social justice organization as a scam and insisted that Democrats are the party of racism and violence. Xavier de Rousseau, 29, revealed that he did a complete 180 from his liberal upbringing during the 2020 George Floyd riots as he realized that the movement was a money grab, and that he was indoctrinated. Quote, once I started looking at the conservative side of the argument, I started realizing, oh, wait, socialism has literally never worked. BLM has always been a scam, and the Democratic Party has always been the party of racism and violence. Welcome home, brother. Welcome home. We know. I have just been drinking the Kool-Aid because this was the indoctrination that was put upon me from the age of a child, he said. Dr. Rousseau, or Du Rousseau, a former student activist who voted for Bernie Sanders, guilty, and helped organize BLM, guilty, demonstrations during the summer of 2020, said things changed after Floyd's death when the group and protests exploded nationally. Quote, after George Floyd's death of an overdose, not a cop, I just started seeing people exploiting the movement so much, and I started realizing how performative a lot of the activism was. And it was like these white Antifa members saying that they were stealing all of our shoes and TVs in the name of justice for reparations, he continued. It's like so many layers of why it just wasn't making sense. Let's hear what he has to say. We're not going through the whole thing.
Xavier, the CEO of Walk With Me. Thank you for joining the Riley.
This is Riley Gaines, by the way. You know who she is.
Gaines show. Super duper excited you're on. There are very few people like you with your background and your experience and your testimony, quite frankly, on the conservative side of the aisle, especially in the influencing, if you even want to call it that, department. Can you give us a little bit of that background that I'm talking about? Because I think it's incredibly interesting, and it probably gives you unique insight and perspectives and a lot of the things even still that are circulating in the conversations online.
Well, first of all, thank you for having me, Mrs. Barker. You know, I'm a huge, longtime fan and supporter of you, and I play no games about you ever, not today and not any other day. But yes, I come from a I would say unique, but at this point, there's so many people that are coming along the journey with me. I'm very happy about it. But I was a BLM activist. I grew up in a very left-wing liberal household. I would dare to even say it was pretty Marxist, my upbringing. And I was told my entire life that I needed to fixate on race and that everything needed to be about race. And then as a joke, I applied to be on a Netflix reality show and ended up being cast to be a part of The Circle, either season 2 or 3. They were filming it during COVID. And my whole character was supposed to be me pretending to be a woke white woman, being a catfish online, but teaching people how to be progressive activists. And in the process of getting ready to go on that show, I was like, well, let me study the counter arguments so that I could go up and debate Charlie Kirk and Ben Shapiro and PragerU and try to debunk all these PragerU videos. And I accidentally debunked myself instead and backed out of the show. Next thing you know, I'm like, well, if I am wrong about all these different things, I'm wrong about the Democratic Party, I'm wrong about socialism, I can't be the only one who is going through this. So I started speaking out, and 5 years later, here we are on the Riley Gaines Show.
So this was peak COVID, you said. So like what, 2020, 2021 timeframe?
Yes. And the only reason I applied to be on this reality show is because I was bored. It was the height of the pandemic, and I made this application video as a joke because it was one of the shows I was binge watching with my old roommate. And his girlfriend actually was the one that got me to end up sending the video in during COVID. So I was like, okay, well, I'm doing this now. And I ended up being selected to be a finalist right after George Floyd had died. So it was all just happening at the same time. And because it was COVID, I had nothing but time on my hands. So I'm like, well, let me start researching without confirmation bias, which I didn't realize how bad I had confirmation bias. And I saw quickly that I was not researching to make a conclusion. I already had a conclusion that I was trying to research to defend. But once I started looking at the conservative side of the argument, I started realizing, oh, wait, socialism has literally never worked. Right. BLM has always been a scam. And the Democratic Party has always been the party of racism and violence. I have just been drinking the Kool-Aid because this was the indoctrination that was put upon me from the age of a little child.
Well, let me tell you, I watched the show The Circle. I enjoyed it. I had no idea, though, that they give you that much prep or maybe direction going into the show. So that's super interesting.
No such thing as a reality show.
And I will say the COVID to reality television pipeline must be universal because I applied for Survivor. Imagine me out in the wilderness. I just thought the idea at the time, again, this is peak COVID where you're kind of I think everyone had a little bit of hysteria, especially me. I was a college athlete during the time and I felt like I was getting fat. I wasn't swimming the same way. I'm like, I want to go on Survivor so I can be skinny. That's what I wanted. So the pipeline is so real. Anyways, all that to say, with this being the George Floyd timeline, that was kind of another wrench in it all, though. Talk about that. And then when you're speaking up came, I think, and specifically the George Floyd timeline and maybe some of the response that you saw from other BLM activists.
Yeah, so I was already a BLM activist long before George Floyd. So I was already, I was the kid in high school that was putting the posters all over the walls. I was the kid in college.
I don't think we need to watch any more of that.
So, yeah, Rich, it's just that socialism has never been done right. That's the problem.
What's up, Anglo? Good to see you, brother. I was wondering, where's everybody? Where's all my peeps from across the pond? Hey, Linda, how you doing? Good to see you, girlfriend. Yep. Let me see who else is here. All right. The gang's all coming. Thank you.
So that the problem is socialism's just never been done correctly. That's the problem.
That's the whole thing. Yeah, it's never been done correctly. We would do it correctly until we fuck up. Then we go, you know what? We screwed up. We didn't do it correctly. No, the problem with socialism is they do it exactly the way it's supposed to be done.
That's why it doesn't work. I got a funny story about reality stars, though. Well, I do not watch reality shows, and I think that the inventor of reality shows should be shot with a fully automatic marshmallow gun. Okay, and I found this. Okay, forgive me, Lord Jesus, forgive me for this. The only one I found very amusing was the first 5 minutes of a show called Naked and Afraid.
Oh yeah, I've heard that.
Okay, but here's the thing: they bring the man and the women onto this area separately, and they strip, right?
Yep.
And well, I mean, they
Not
blur out the bits, right? But the funniest part is they say, okay, you got to go down this path, and I mean, they're not alone, right? They get cameras everywhere. But when they first see each other in their first meeting, it is like so hilariously awkward, and they're standing there and going, "Hi, hi." So I just thought that was very funny.
It was.
Forgive me, Lord. I'll do penance. But I thought that was like hilarious. So
it is funny, actually. All right, we're gonna do another one that makes the Dems look like morons. So, not doing it very well. More internal issues for Democrats hint at big trouble for the midterms. Here we go. As we go toward the 2026 midterms, normally the party out of power, in this case, the Democrats. Did you hear that Trump gave a new name for them, the Democrats? You see, we keep the B out to make it flow. It's the Democrats. He goes, because they're very stupid. And he said that on Hannity. I was laughing my ass off because everybody laughed. The Democrats would have the edge. So it says, but redistricting has made things much closer. On top of that, Democrats still have the problem that the voters don't think very highly of them, as we reported. CNN senior data analyst Henry Enton, who we love, explained that
Harry, not Henry.
Harry, yeah, sorry. That in addition to redistricting, you spelled it wrong. All right, which is likely to deliver more seats to Republicans, is generic congressional ballot numbers have gotten worse since March, and now they are now within the margin of error, right? And they're gonna beat the shit out of them. Now the AP has dropped a piece about internal conflict among the Democrats titled "Inside the Fuhrer," plaguing Democratic National Committee leader Ken Martin. Well, see, there's another problem. They're all saying more than not in the House that if they win, they don't want Jeffries because he's a loser.
Yeah, I heard that.
Yeah, the internal turmoil sounds pretty bad. This is big in politics, guys. Major donors aren't giving. Liberal influencers are publicly questioning Martin's refusal to release an internal report on the party's failures. Yeah, so they spend all this money to on all these experts to like study them and find out what the hell did you guys do wrong. And then when they say we want to be transparent, so and then they just don't be transparent. They don't let anybody see what the hell they're talking about. And Democratic operatives have begun informal discussions about recruiting a new chair, even as most believe that Martin's job isn't in serious jeopardy ahead of the midterm elections. Amanda Littman, who leads the Democratic allied organization Run for Something, said she's been approached by senior strategists in recent days, gauging her interest in replacing Martin. She declined, but said many in the party have lost faith in the DNC leader. Tell me a DNC leader they actually had faith in. They just oof. Don't hold back there. And why would anybody donate? Honestly, what do Democrats do apart from attack President Donald Trump? That's serious. It's like they live in his head rent free, right? But it's like, think about it. Or he lives in their head rent free. God, it's dyslexia dead. And so you think about it. What have they done this year or tried to do that would have helped Americans, that would have made their lives better, made the world better? Nothing. They just come out against Trump.
Yeah, even better question is, what suggestions have they had that do not involve Trump?
Right. Well, he just made a joke on the trip to China, I believe it was, where he said, you know what? No, he was in the White House. It was before the trip, right before. And he was at the Resolute desk, and all these people were standing behind him. He goes, you know what? And he looks over to the press and he goes, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, I don't want this. And the Democrats will fight for it. Because it's like he pointed out, they'll do anything that's opposite of what he wants. So according to the report, the disturbance about him is making Martin increasingly paranoid. He's only paranoid because everyone's against him. Even inside party headquarters. And it could make it harder for them to win in November while undermining faith in the DNC. And it coordinates the party's next presidential nomination. Do you know when people started losing faith in the DNC? When they allowed Hillary Clinton to buy the nomination in 2016 because Barack Hussein, Milhouse, Benito Obama spent all the DNC's money. They had no money to fund any of their campaigns across the country. And Hillary comes along and says, look, I got this pain in the ass Bernie Sanders. If you guarantee that I get the nomination, then I will fund every single campaign. They went, you got a deal. Now, some Democrats, Bernie bros, they sued later on when they found out after she lost. They sued. And the court literally said, there's nothing you can do because it's a private organization. The Democratic Party is not a government entity. And so they're allowed to do whatever the hell they want. But then I thought many of the Bernie bros should go, wait a minute, it was fraud. They had us think that there was a real competition here, and we donated millions of dollars to this guy. So, but then there's the big money problem. The National Party reported $22.1 million cash on hand with $18.4 million in debt at the end of March. You know why? Because they keep doing all these things to try to turn people against Trump. All these programs they're paying for and commercials and shit. It's just, according to, and think about that, $22.1 million in cash on hand. That's not a lot of money for the DNC. They have multiple candidates in all 50 states. 51 if you're a moron and you think DC is a state. According to its most recent federal filing. The Republican National Committee, by contrast, has $116.8 million in the bank with zero debt. They're arguing that they're spending money on their efforts. Martin's been trying to raise more money, but it kind of sounds like he's trying to desperately bail out the boat.
Yeah, and didn't Kamala stiff a bunch of people like venue providers and that? And she stiffed them for like hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Linda, the Resolute desk is a famous 1,300-pound partner's desk used by multiple U.S. presidents in the Oval Office. Gifted to Rutherford B. Hayes by Queen Victoria in 1880, it was crafted from the oak timbers of the British Ark exploration ship HMS Resolute. So that's why it's called the Resolute desk. If I had that thing, the more you know, I would have put it up, but I don't.
There you go.
Yeah. But that's a good question. Very good question. Thank you. Feel the burn. Remember that? What was the average donation? $21. Remember that? If I had $1 and you had $20 and I get elected, then I have $21. That was Bernie. Well, tax you to death. Kamala has a lot of hand experience with stiffing people. That's right. It heals up Harris. Dr. J, no. What do they say about anything? There's no attack on those they disagree with. Yeah, exactly. See, President Trump should immediately support.
Oh, I've said that. You've heard me say that, Rich.
Yeah.
If Trump said oxygen was good, they'd stop breathing.
Yeah, they'd stop breathing. Of course, they'd pass out, but
couldn't happen to a nicer bunch.
Yeah. Okay. What a shit headline. I know. It was. Let's see. The next one. Yeah, see you in court. Love this one. Spanberger, man. What a CIA operative she was. All right. So, Town Hall. I just bought a subscription to Town Hall. You get so now we can read every single Kurt Schlichter article that I want. Because now I'm a paid guy. But it's not just Town Hall. There's 4 other news things. Twitchy, Red State. It's all the inside stuff. So it's kind of cool. And it wasn't that expensive. So see you in court. DOJ sues Virginia over assault weapons ban. Love her. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger just signed a Democrat-pushed assault weapons ban. Now, that's the thing, man. Shall not be infringed is the end of the Second Amendment. The right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Now, they used to say automatic weapons, and people said, hey, Democrat, automatic weapons have been banned since the 1930s. So what are you talking about? So now they say assault weapon. Well, I drive an assault vehicle. If I hit somebody with that, I could assault them and kill them. I eat with an assault fork and knife every meal.
I eat assaulted peanuts.
There you go. Okay, I get it. you could throw a peanut in somebody's eye and the salt would burn. Yeah. So Jimmy from Philly used to have this joke. It was like these two peanuts were walking through the park and one was assaulted. But the way he did it was really fun. All right. Sorry. Virginia Governor Spanberger just signed. They pushed this assault weapon ban for the state. And much like their redistricting effort, the legislation is going to court where it will likely be overturned. There we go. Let's see. It's breaking. Virginia, this is the NRA. Virginia Governor Abigail Spanberger has signed legislation banning America's rifle. The NRA is filing 2 major lawsuits in Virginia to challenge Virginia Governor Spanberger, her anti-Second Amendment agenda. We're not going to stand idly by. Well, let's just see what he said.
I'm John Comerford, Executive Director of NRA's Institute for Legislative Action. I'm here today to announce the filing of 2 critical lawsuits in Virginia. One in federal court with our friends at the Second Amendment Foundation and Firearms Policy Coalition, along with 2 NRA members, and one in state court in Washington County, Virginia, along with our state association, the Virginia Shooting Sports Association, and Middletown Firearms and Training, and 2 NRA members. We're not going to stand idly by and let this new governor ban America's rifle in the Commonwealth of Virginia. Our teams, world-class appellate attorneys, are ready to win in federal and state court
and it will
protect your rights across the Commonwealth. Abigail Spanberger isn't going to ban America's rifle on our watch.
That's right.
And you know what's important? And this is very important. There really is no definition of assault rifle. At the very least, no, AR stands for Armalite rifle.
Yeah, Armalite.
Armalite
the company that made the original AR.
Armalite is a company. AR does not stand for assault rifle.
Everybody thought it meant that, and the libs, and they're like, well, it says assault rifle. That's what AR stands for. Yeah. You're like, oh, God.
But there's no definition.
On the head.
There's no actual definition for assault rifle, and the closest we come to one involves it being select fire in terms of being able to fire automatically. The assault rifle that the libs talk about is a political hack definition that has a collection that applies a collection of cosmetic features to the rifle that makes no sense at all.
Yeah. In other words, guys, they take an AR-15, okay, and because they put a certain type of stock on it, they make it look like it's a weapon of war, okay, but it's not a weapon of war. But because it looks like it, they go, oh my God, that's an assault weapon. And our basic answer is shut the hell up.
I've had people look at an AR-15 and call it a machine gun. And when you correct them, well, it doesn't matter. It's a machine gun. It looks like a machine gun.
Yeah.
I mean, how more ignorant can you get? Now, the question is that deliberate? Is that ignorance or just deliberate misunderstanding?
I know. Well, it's deliberate misunderstanding. They're not that stupid. They act it and they do stupid things, but here we go. Here's a good one. Ready? I wanted to read. I didn't read it on purpose.
Well, actually, Commander, hang on a sec. Commander, I'm not sure about Hasbro, but, Mattel used to make some of the M16s.
Yeah, and Mattel did make them. Yeah. And as a matter of fact, Mattel got in on what was it? Not War Powers Act. It was Roosevelt said, okay, we're not getting into the war yet, but we're going to help Britain out. We're going to help them out we're going to start manufacturing the munitions and the vehicles that they need. And he said, if you convert your manufacturing plants right now, eventually we will get into the war and you're going to make a fortune. But if you do it right now, you will not pay a federal tax for the rest of the lifetime of your company. And Mattel was one of them. And think about it, Mattel, it makes the M16. They also make the G.I. Joe doll that the liberals in the 1970s said, we got to get rid of that because it's causing so many problems for our young boys. So, really? The company that makes the M16, you only care about the dumb doll, right?
And you know something?
Hold on. Anglo, God bless you, brother. Rich, are you aware of Jake Monroe? I've asked him to play 42's work. No joy yet. I'll keep trying. Hello, Dr. Jake. I've heard the name Jake Monroe. Is he Well, there's a Monroe from Breitbart. I know he's from Ireland. Is that no? I guess that's not him. But I know of a guy Monroe, who's like the immigration guy, if you will. And thank you, brother. I appreciate it. He's the immigration guy from Breitbart News, but he's in Ireland. I don't think that's him. But you asked him to play 42's work. What is he? Is he on YouTube? Does he have his own channel? And I don't know who he is really. Let me look him up.
While you're doing that, I can say, there seems to be a connection between typewriter companies and war production of rifles, especially the what was it? The carbine, M1 carbines.
Right.
Underwood typewriter company produced them.
Right.
I'm trying to think of. There was another one. Smith Corona produced the M1903 bolt action rifle, and everybody knows Smith. Although if you're young enough, you're gonna look at me and say, "What's a typewriter?" Remington Rand was formed from a typewriter company, went on to become Remington Arms, and produced almost 900,000 1911 pistols, and L.C. Smith and Brothers. You probably know where this is going. Involved
Smith and
Wesson.
There you go. Yep.
And then they also shifted to typewriter manufacturing. So for some reason, there seems to be this alliance.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Let's do this one now. Why Dems ignore rules. This is pretty good. I read this in advance.
Because they get away with it?
Yeah, this is Kevin McCullough. He was pretty good. One of the defining characteristics of the modern American left is that it treats rules the way toddlers treat vegetables. That's why I created that image. Tolerated only when unavoidable and immediately discarded the second they become inconvenient. That sounds harsh until you watch the pattern repeat itself over and over and over again. If they lose an election, the system is broken. If a court rules against them, the court is illegitimate. If constitutional checks prevent them from getting what they want immediately, then the checks themselves must be removed. This is what I say every week. Not debated, removed, which brings us to Virginia. Following the Virginia Supreme Court's rejection of a Democrat-backed gerrymandering effort, voices on the left are now openly floating ideas that amount to court packing at the state level, expanding, restructuring, or politically purging the court itself because it refused to produce the preferred ideological outcome. What they're doing is they're trying to pass a bill before the midterm. They'll never make it because after the 12th of May, they had no chance, right? And of being able to do anything because the ballots are all in place. Here's what they wanted to do. They wanted to change a rule that the age limit for the court, which is now 73, is 54 because the youngest member on the court is 55. So they
complete coincidence.
What's that?
Complete coincidence.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. They didn't know. All right. So they wanted to get them off the court and put radical left-wing wackos in there and then have them rehear the case on their redistricting, which was bullshit anyway because it was totally unconstitutional what they did because of the way that they skipped the part, which is the most important part of why that law is in their state constitution. Okay? They were supposed to have a second. What they had to have two assembly votes. The assembly is think of it as a parliament, all right? And they had to have one assembly vote. Then they had to have a second assembly vote from a different assembly. What does that mean? It means you got to wait for an election. And then if the people still want this, if it passed the first one and the people still want it after the election, because the election could be influenced because of that first vote. So people go, I don't want to take away my guns. Fuck you. I'm going to go over and I'm going to vote my ass off for the other guys, right? But and then when the second new assembly is in there and they vote for it, well, then they send it to the people. The people have the final say. They skipped that and went direct. They went from the first assembly, went directly to the people, unconstitutional. That check and balance totally thrown out in the garbage because they're garbage people. Following the Virginia Supreme Court's rejection of a Democrat-backed gerrymandering, voices on the left Oh yeah, I already read that. Okay, think about how insane that actually is. Throwing the court out. It's what Roosevelt wanted to do. FDR, he wanted to do it. He didn't do it though. Not we disagree with the ruling. Not we'd like to challenge the legal reasoning. No, the reaction increasingly sounds like if the institution won't obey us, we'll replace the institution. It's because there's a term called short-run hedonism. What it means is pleasure seeking now, and I'll worry about the consequences of that later on. That's what it is, and more people are like that today because there's no consequences for anybody. Consequences, schmonsequences. It's why these freaking judges rule the way they do against Trump, knowing they're going to be overturned because there's no consequences. And that's what these people are doing. They wanted to win the midterms, and they thought that with the scheme that they pulled, taking a 6-5 and making it 10-1, as far as members in Congress, 10 Democrats, 1 Republican in the state, that would help them win the midterms. I mean, think about that. It's not even their level of government. They wanted to help the party up a higher level at the federal government. It's unbelievable. Jonathan Turley is he's a university professor. I think he's Georgetown, and he very, very good. He's a constitutional scholar. Does not like Trump. Doesn't hate him. Will not like throw the baby out with the bathwater, right? When it comes to Trump. And he has said some nice things. He said, nah, I didn't vote for him and I won't. He goes, but I defend him on everything he's done that the Democrats say. Like he defended Trump through both impeachments, throughout all the other crap that's gone on. So he's actually a good guy. He's like a guy that's a liberal, but he's not a leftist, crazy lunatic, right? And he has principles. He's like one of the last left on that side that has principles. Okay, what's especially revealing is how quickly national Democrats and activist voices move toward the same familiar conclusion Americans have now watched for years. If constitutional structures stand in the way of progressive power, then constitutional structures themselves become the enemy. This is who thinks this way, Jay? Fucking children. That's who thinks this way. Children think this way. And the justification for all of this, a low turnout election. That's the part conveniently skipped over in much of the coverage. Yes, there was a special election result tied to the redistricting issue. Yes, the people voted. But pretending a low turnout off-cycle election somehow represents an unquestionable, overwhelming moral mandate while simultaneously dismissing the constitutional role of the Virginia Supreme Court is intellectually dishonest, especially because the Virginia Supreme Court itself is not some alien occupying force imposed from Mars. Its justices are selected through votes in both legislative chambers, meaning the court itself also reflects representative government and the express will of the elected officials chosen by Virginians. What that means in the end, guys, is that the people put the members of the Supreme Court, because they're the ones that vote these guys in the legislative process. They vote the legislators in, and so the legislators vote based on what their constituents want. It's one of the better ways to do it. In other words, checks and balances did exactly what checks and balances are supposed to do. One expression of public will collided. Wait a minute. One expression of public will, there you go, collided with another constitutional safeguard representing the broader structure of governance. That's not democracy failing. That's constitutional order functioning properly. See, the thing is, you have to be adult enough to say, okay, we lost. Was the constitutional process followed? All right, then we'll do better next time. No, Democrats never do that. They start the blame game. Then they just don't understand that people just don't want to vote for them anymore because they've done nothing for them in over 100 years, right? So they just want to take action. They'll never accept. They said on Trump, well, he'll never accept if he lost it. They never accept when they lose anything, ever. So that the modern left increasingly cannot tolerate outcomes it does not fully control. And that gets to the deeper issue underneath all of this. The reason so many activists on the left ignore rules is because many no longer believe in objective morality at all. That is so true. It's all performative for them. Rules are not viewed as fixed principles rooted in enduring truths. They're viewed as temporary tools, useful when they produce desired outcomes, disposable when they do not. That's why procedures only matter selectively. That's why institutional norms suddenly become sacred during one presidency and oppressive during the next. You ever notice that? The shit that Joe Biden did and got away with, the Democrats are like, oh, come on, we've always done that. And then Trump tries something that's like minuscule compared with, which is totally legal. And they go, oh, it's unconstitutional. He's destroying democracy. This is what he's describing.
Yeah, Joe stood up and said he found a way around the Supreme Court. He's disobeyed. He stood there and said it.
He said, he told me I can't continue forgiving student debt, but I'm going to keep doing it. In other words, he gave a double barrel middle finger to the Supreme Court. And now that the Supreme Court is ruling what seems to be like Trump, no, Trump always says, it's not for me, it's for the presidency. He always says that. I never heard Barack Obama say that. Barack Obama's most favorite words were I and me. Okay? I never heard Biden say it. Well, Biden didn't even know he was president, I don't think. All right. That's why the filibuster must alternately be protected or destroyed, depending upon who currently benefits from it, right? There is no stable principle underneath any of it except power. Acquire it, protect it, expand it. And if rules interfere with those objectives, then the rules themselves become obstacles to eliminate. This is how they think on the left. We've watched this mentality spread everywhere. The Electoral College is illegitimate when Republicans win. The Supreme Court is illegitimate when originalists rule constitutionally. The Senate is unfair. Voter ID is racist. Free speech is dangerous. Religious liberty is threatening. This is 2020 on forward for the Democrats when you think about it. Eventually, you realize the problem is not actually with any individual institution. The problem is that constitutional systems were intentionally designed to slow raw power from consuming everything. That was the entire point. America's founders did not trust concentrated authority because they understood human nature too well. They knew majorities could become tyrannical just as easily as monarchs could. So they built friction into the system intentionally. Democrats don't like that because they, like I said earlier in the show, a Democrat is every single system they get involved with, anything at all, they want it rigged. And therefore, I'm not even talking just about elections, a vote, right? Fundraising, anything, they want it rigged in their favor because they don't want to do the work. And they know that many people don't like them anymore because of the way they behave. Excuse me. Checks, balances, competing branches, constitutional restraints, not to frustrate democracy, but to preserve liberty. Because liberty without restraint eventually collapses into coercion. And coercion is precisely where radical political movements always drift when they stop believing truth exists beyond their own desires. That's what makes the Virginia situation so revealing. The court did not stage a coup. It did not suspend elections. It did not invent authority from thin air. It interpreted constitutional boundaries and exercised judicial review inside the structure Virginians themselves established. And because activists disliked the outcome, some now openly discuss restructuring the court itself. Think about the precedent that creates. And they don't care as long as they win. All they care about is winning because they have this insatiable desire to completely destroy everything that works so that they can expand their power. That's all Democrats want to do. Every time one branch disappoints you, you simply threaten to replace it. That's not constitutional government. It's political extortion, and it's profoundly dangerous because once societies abandon neutral rules, all that remains is raw tribal power. At that point, constitutions become meaningless pieces of paper because whoever controls enough institutional muscle simply rewrites the rules in time. This guy's a good writer who I didn't even see who wrote this. I will though. History is filled with regimes that followed exactly that path. It never ends well, which is why this moment matters beyond Virginia. The issue isn't maps. The issue is whether Americans still believe constitutional restraints apply even when they prevent us from getting what we want immediately. How about her? You think about that. It's the delayed gratification, right? Mature societies understand that. Stable civilizations, they understand limits. free people recognize that power restrained today may preserve their own liberty tomorrow, but short-run hedonistic people don't give a shit about that. They want it now, 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 pleasure-seeking now, worry about consequences later. And yet they never worry about those consequences later. You know, okay, we got a problem here. These guys are doing this and we don't want them to do it. All right, let's make a law that says they can't do it. All right, problem solved, move on to the next problem. They never sit around or come back to it to say, how did we screw things up with that? Let's do a measure of it.
Well, they never get called up on the carpet. They never get called to account.
Correct.
They never, nothing. Hey, you want to give me my moment?
Oh, sure. It's at 7 o'clock. Yeah, it is. All right. Dr. Jade has a Dr. Jade's moment. Hang on a second. Here we go.
It's a Dr. Jade moment.
So today I have a topic that I personally find pretty fascinating, and that is ancient medical procedures. Okay. Share my screen. So first thing we're going to talk about is dental procedures, which is, you know, okay, maybe hang on a second. Hang on. Where is it? There it is. So this is going back. Neanderthals.
Oh, wow.
Neanderthals. Where is it? Oh, stop that. Neanderthals did dental procedures. They used stone tools. Now, obviously, you know, tooth removal has been around for a long time, but dating back thousands of years, dental implants with bamboo or metal pegs, drilling to remove decay with even stone implements in Neanderthals, and then you get down here, China, 4,000 years ago, bamboo pegs carved and tapped into the jawbone, implants. I do like Neanderthals, Linda.
Yeah.
Neanderthals are total units. I love Neanderthals. That one I don't know. Ancient Egypt, transplanted teeth. You know where they got the teeth. Or teeth carved out of ivory.
Well, they said Washington had false teeth made out of wood. But
but that was just kind of a false tooth. That wasn't implants. These are freaking implants.
Wow.
6,000-year-old implants.
Oh,
Seashells. No. The Mayans used seashells.
Wow.
Which actually grew into the bone, people. And then the Etruscans before BC, 700 BC, gold bands basically as bridges. And then, the part of ancient dentistry was tooth worms. Little living worms in the tooth were believed to be the cause of all these things. But filling, listen, Egypts, they used resin and other materials. Now, these guys knew about resin. The ancient Egyptians, that's what they used to preserve bodies, create mummies. Yeah. They knew about resins. People used metal, silver, and gold. I am such a fan of toothpicks. I am totally addicted to using toothpicks. I never don't have a toothpick around. Mm-hmm. And I guess that's been something.
There's placards, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's been around for a long time.
Wow.
Twigs, toothbrushes have been around for a long time in the form of twigs.
Yeah.
And then, of course, extraction. And here you go, guys.
Oh, wow.
Look at some of this.
That's all prehistoric?
This is all ancient.
Wow.
This is all ancient stuff, man.
Disgusting.
Look at the bridge. Look at the bridge.
Where's that confounded bridge? Oh, wow. Look at that.
And look at these, bridges. Okay, this is a tooth worm. Okay. The images of tooth worms. Again, artificial teeth fitted in bridges. Gold teeth. This is something else. Okay, now taking that one down, and we're going to go over and okay, there's my screen.
All right, let me get to it.
And now if you're looking at actual medical procedures,
Yep.
that's pretty surprising.
Wow.
Trepanation.
Amputation. Holy shit. Cataract couching. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. This is my moment.
Yeah.
Trepanation, which basically means they ancient people, especially the ancient Egyptians, for certain types of headaches, they would perform trepanation,
Wow.
opening a hole into the skull, and they were removing brain tumors.
Oh, wow.
Now, these skulls,
What university did they go to?
yeah, these skulls, the skull shows sign of good healing. That's the surprising part.
Oh, wow.
They healed. They recovered from these things.
Wow.
They treated cataracts. Now, not like we do today. They basically removed the lens so you could see, but it was like really, you needed, I don't know what they did for refraction, but you need huge refraction. Amputations, of course. And this is really interesting. On wounds, many ancient tribes would take, especially ants, because ants have these like monster jaws on them, not necessarily
Right.
like the ants we have here, but these, and they would take them and they would they would put the ant would clamp the jaws to the edges of the skin that they approximated, and then they would like clip the body off so the head was there with the mandibles and it would hold the wound together.
What did they do with the beetles?
I don't know.
Scraps. They're beetles.
Now,
They ran
okay,
around
everybody,
with the Rolling Stones.
this is gross, and no, I don't have any pictures of maggot therapy.
Good.
But this is actually a very scientifically valid thing to do. They only eat dead tissue. So if you have a nasty wound,
Oh, yeah.
and they will eat the dead tissue and leave all of the live tissue.
Wow.
Of course, we're probably most of us familiar with bloodletting right up, through the Middle Ages.
Yeah.
And this is cool. Everything from eating the brain of your ancestor to powdered mummy remains.
Oh, get the ketchup. Get the ketchup.
And another favorite one, tobacco smoke enemas.
Oh, there you go. They're blowing smoke up your ass. That's what they're doing.
That's what they're doing. Well, of course, sir, that's what we're doing. And cauterization, well, maybe you use that on wounds, but this one seems to be, I don't know if I'd want to go through that.
Severe hemorrhoids. What a pain in the ass.
Yeah, but you're going to do that with like a hot iron just sitting in the fire and until it's red hot. And they're just going to, yeah.
No, geez.
Okay, herbal remedies and such. Now I don't know. Let's see. Let me go here.
Take notes, chat. During a zombie apocalypse, the person with maggots will survive. That's awesome.
Okay, I gotta share this page now.
Go ahead.
Hang on a second. Hang on a second. Stop this.
This is
the
interesting.
page.
This week.
I gotta share this page. Because this is yes. Stop it. Okay, bring this one up.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, look at this. These are healed
Oh, wow.
trepanation holes. Look at
They
this.
drilled the holes in them and they're circular and wow.
Look at this.
That's crazy.
And
crazy.
Hang on. There we go. Hang on. Go back. Here we go. And I mean, and there's not just a few of them that they've found, like tons of them.
Wow. Yeah, they're not bullet holes or the hole made by like a club.
No, they show signs of healing.
Yeah.
These people made it through. Look, they healed from this. This was done with like a stone tool, or maybe he got as far as bronze.
Wow.
This was okay. Well, there's the anesthetic, of course.
Yeah.
But we're not going to stop there. This is when it became. Wow. This is when it became, much more sophisticated. Yeah, here's a guy who had like a second one. So, in other words, cranial surgery, you'd think that wouldn't be the first.
Wow.
You would think that wouldn't be the first surgical procedures that were developed. But isn't that kind of cool?
That is kind of cool when you think about it. Back then, like, yeah, I wrote a book. I actually wrote a book. It's on Amazon, but not selling it here. But it was about how, because a lot of people think the people in the ancient times were stupid, like they were ignorant, right? No. These guys had like power tools, back in their day. Like I always talk about, the Romans had a concrete formula that to this day they built concrete towers that are in the ocean, and nothing's ever happened to them. They never degraded at all. We lost that formula, right? But there's all kinds of stuff out there that is like that. Okay, we done the moment?
That's what I have to say, unless
Awesome.
Anybody has any questions. But the most interesting thing about it is that these people survived like years, not just for a week, but years. They went on to a good life. They were taking brain tumors out.
You got to wonder, like, the guys that did it, the doctors, if you will, for lack of a better word, like, how did they learn how to do that? Trial and error? You got to think about all the people they harmed.
There's lots of stories from antiquity like that. For instance, what am I trying to say? Acupuncture was developed because the ancient physicians in China noticed that people with certain injuries from arrows had certain other effects, that like pain relief somewhere. So it was a lot of observation that these guys would have a look, and if they saw that somebody's face was like this, from their experience, they knew, oh, there's pressure over here. Or
I'll send that out later, Commander.
Or a lot of these were also done for trauma. So people knew, oh, you got your skull caved in, you were probably bleeding there. That's probably why you're kind of floppy and unconscious. So they drilled a hole, evacuated the blood, and you recovered.
Wow.
So the next time something like that, somebody got kicked by a horse or something, guess what they did? They did the same thing.
Yeah, and it worked.
And because don't forget, back in the day, you learned your craft from your family, usually from your father, who taught you. And if your father was a cabinet maker, he taught you to make cabinets. If your father was what they called a surgeon, he taught you what he knew about surgery, and you became a doctor. And
what if your father was an idiot?
Well, you have a problem then, and I think they called you a Democrat.
Yeah, that's probably it. They register you automatically. All right. Thank you, Dr. Jade, for that.
It's a Dr. Jade moment.
All right, Chris. Let me see. What's that? The Trumpination? The okay nickname it Trumpination. Did you note the impact of President Trump on Dummycrats? Exactly. That's awesome. All right. Very good one.
Hope everybody enjoyed that.
I enjoyed it. I know I did. I'm sure everybody did. So now we're going to have a talk about something that actually works every time it's tried. Capitalism. Yeah. This is from John Stossel. Remember him? Ever notice that they call it the Middle East? Is it really in the middle? No, that was the guy on 60 Minutes, wasn't it? I forget his name now. Who was the old guy on 60 Minutes? At the end, he would come on. Ever notice that women don't like to really wear high heels?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, yes, yes.
Because of us? What's
yes,
that?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Hang on. I'll find it out for you.
All right. So the thing that works. Young people now blame capitalism for poverty, racism, high prices, even climate change, because young people are stupid. All right. They listen to people like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, who says capitalism is the absolute pursuit of profit at all human, environmental, and social costs. That is not a redeemable system. Give me a break. Yeah, he always says, give me a break.
Was it Leslie Stahl?
No, that was a woman. Hold on.
No, I'm looking right now. Yeah, Leslie Stahl. That was a woman. I don't see it. I think I would.
Not Bill Owens. What the hell
Mike
was
Wallace, Harry Reasoner.
I forget his name. Well.
You read. I'll keep looking.
Yeah. I can't remember who it was. Anyway, yes, capitalism is often ugly. It brings out greed in some, exacerbates wealth differences, creates pollution, creating an actual need for government regulation, which capitalism funds, and leaves some people behind, but nothing else works. Nothing else works, makes life better for most people, including the poor. That is exactly true. So,
Andy Rooney.
Yeah, Andy Rooney. That's it. That's it. Is it really in the middle, that Middle East? Capitalism, quote, capitalism is moral precisely because success comes from meeting the needs and wants of others, says Steve Forbes. That's true. It's moral because each person on the side of the transaction walks away happy. Otherwise, there's no transaction. If you say, I want to buy this car that you have, you own this car, I want to buy it, you're selling it. What's the price? If the guy gives you a price that you agree to, you're happy with, you pay him that money, he's happy because that's what he wanted. You get the car and that's what you want. That is capitalism. When the fucking socialists come in, they go, you know what? It's not fair that certain types of minorities cannot afford a car like that. So we are going to take from the taxpayers and give this guy more money so he can afford it. Or we're going to tell him he has to put a price and wage control on all his people that build that car. Because you got to make it more affordable. That's what they're doing with Tesla right now. Think about it. You got all those EV credits. Otherwise, people couldn't afford a Tesla. Same thing. Capitalism, real capitalism works. But it's brutal because it's I win because you lose. But with the transactions of daily people, it's like, think about it. The other one is like, you open a store, you want to sell bread because you know your neighbors are going to want to buy bread. So you have loaves of bread. You pay $1 for a loaf of bread and you sell them for $2. Somebody comes in, no, I'm happy to pay you $2 to get the bread. Some asshole socialist is going to come along and say, you know what, it's not fair because poor people can't afford that. So we're going to subsidize that so that they only have to pay $1. Right. And then eventually the government says, we're not going to subsidize it anymore. We're going to force you to charge only $1. They've done this in many jurisdictions. And then what happens? They completely screw up the entire game because then the guy selling bread can no longer afford to sell bread because he's losing money. You can't buy bread for $1 and sell it for $1 and stay in business, right? So they go out of business. This is what happens all the time. Higher standard of living comes from trading, buying, and selling with one another. Everybody gets something from a transaction. Exactly right. Everybody, because capitalism, unlike socialism, and most of government is voluntary. Transactions happen only if both sides believe they won. Yeah, that's what I just said. It's why there's often an odd double thank you moment when we buy something. The buyer and seller say, thank you. That's right. Why? Because the seller wants my money more than his product. I want his product more than the money I paid. Otherwise, the trade wouldn't happen. Wow, I should have wrote this. Millions of such voluntary transactions create wealth. That's capitalism. Now we get into the good part. The ignorant think rich people take from poor people. I never understood that. How do rich people take something from poor people that they don't actually have, which is why we call them poor people. That's liberalism. As the popular YouTube channel Secular Talk puts it, Jeff Bezos, his wealth is making a lot of people poor because we have a finite amount of money. No, it's no zero-sum game. Wrong. There is not a finite amount of money. That silly idea is the essential fallacy and attacks on capitalism, because capitalism is voluntary. It creates wealth. For thousands of years, everyone but the nobility was poor. Then when some countries tried capitalism, wealth skyrocketed. When people are allowed to buy and sell things freely, everyone is better off. And think about it, because the market, that invisible hand of the market. So if you're selling a TV and it's all there is, and you're buying it because that's all there is, but then some other guy comes along and sells a better TV, you're all going to shift over and buy that TV. And then some young, executive guy goes, why are they buying all the other? And some even younger guy goes, well, because they have a better TV than us. You're fired. Make a better TV. Then they make a better TV, and everybody shifts over and starts buying their TV. It's very simple. Socialists don't get that. He just said that. AOC insists no one ever makes $1 billion. You take $1 billion. She's such a fool. But no billionaire showed up at my door demanding I give them money. Under capitalism, they can only get rich by offering people something we think is better than what we bought before. Yeah, it has to be something that you want that will help you in some weird way, right? Otherwise, you're not going to be bothered, right? Unlike government, when they go, you have to buy this healthcare or we're going to fine you. How did that work out? Yes, Amazon's founder is now absurdly rich, but consumers didn't lose. Jeff Bezos got rich by inventing a way for us to shop efficiently and pay less. And as Forbes points out, most billionaires weren't born rich. What's amazing about these individuals, they're from the most unlikely backgrounds, and they invented things you don't plan for. Like, think about this. Was there a need for the microwave oven? Anyone? No, of course not. There was nobody thought, man, I wish I had this oven that could cook shit in a minute instead of me having to stand over a stove, right? But when it came out, people were like, oh shit, I gotta have that, right? So everybody bought it. That's one way that you feel capitalism. What's that?
The thing is, marketing is the art of making people need something that they never previously knew existed.
Exactly. Well, that's marketing. But my point is this. This is beyond that. My point is, before the marketing guys get in there, nobody said, there were no marketers that said, we got to have a microwave oven. Will somebody invent that? No, my point is that if you make something, you're going to make something that you think people are going to want, right?
But you also have to make them want it.
Well, yeah, no. Before that, you have to make something that you think people will want. You're not going to market a piece of shit vehicle and expect to sell it, no matter how good.
I got to disagree with you on that, because
the Hugo did not sell well because it was a piece of shit.
You come up with a lot of examples there, but I can tell you there's a lot of examples of great marketing that sold crap products.
Oh yeah, of course.
I'm not advocating it, obviously.
But I'm not talking about marketing. We're talking about before the marketing.
But yeah,
marketing comes when you want to sell what you've already built. I'm talking about before you even build something, you want to take something on. You got to ask yourself, are the people going to want this? Will it make their lives like the washing machine? Do you know what women's lives were like before the washing machine? Holy cow. It was like an all-day event. Washing was done on Mondays, and it was all day long it took. Because back then, there were no heaters, right? And so when it's cold, you had to wear tons of layers of clothing. The women had to beat the shit out of those things, in the water, everything. And then the washing machine comes along, and people wanted that because they were like, holy cow, now it only takes me half of Monday to do all these clothes. And then you market it. And the reason the reason you market it today is not to convince the person they want your product. You want to convince them that they want your product over the other guy's product because you have something better in your product.
Yes and no. Yes and no. I mean, that's true, but nobody needs a microwave. You've got an oven, but somebody created the microwave and marketing pointed it out to everybody that convenience, you're right, Bobby,
Yes.
convenience, that's what was sold, the
That's
convenience.
what it was. The
We
convenience.
don't need a microwave. However, it's kind of like thinking about living without a cell phone today. It's like goddamn crack. Okay, you don't need it until you use it, and once you
There's
use
studies
it, you
that
can't
actually
stop.
say that it's worse than crack as far as you're wanting to get that dopamine look.
Yeah, I mean, you don't need it until you use it. Once you use it, you can't stop.
All right, let me get back to it.
Yeah.
Margaret Rudkin, a housewife in Connecticut, noticed that's where the bulls and the bears are. Noticed that bread worsened her son's asthma. She experimented with different recipes, came up with a modern whole wheat bread, and grew her business into the company we know as Pepperidge Farm. What plant? You guys across the pond may not know. Do you guys know Pepperidge Farm? You can't get there from here. You know, Pepperidge Farm remembers all that. Let me see. But he can't deal with brick dust. Oh, yeah. I washed treat. And now it's all about instant gratification, too. Yes. Oh, I use the microwave.
Yeah, I mean, in the microwave, you cook something
up, not to cook food.
Cook something, for 5 minutes that used to take you an hour.
Yeah, I don't cook like food in it. I'll heat something up, but I won't cook with it. But she experimented with different peppers. Fine. What planner would have planned that? Laughed Forbes in the new video. He uses the term planner because socialists claim government dictates will make our economy work better than letting individuals make their own choices. Okay. They're wrong. The failure of socialism everywhere should have taught us that. But no, politicians still think they can do better. They're the smartest people in the room. Just ask them. They'll tell you. Capitalism has let a lot of people down, says likely presidential candidate Pete Buttigieg. Maybe, but capitalism also lifted more people out of poverty, created more opportunities, and improved more lives than any other system throughout history. That is true. Economist Thomas Sowell said, I don't ask what is the cause of poverty. Everybody is born poor and ignorant. The question is, what factors allow some groups to get from that position? Sowell put it well, concludes Forbes. What is the difference between people today and people in the Stone Age? Difference is we know more. That's how you get a higher standard of living, from experiments in the marketplace, the laboratory, always trying to find new things. That's why planning doesn't work, because if we already knew it, we'd already be doing it. And let me do the other one that I always do. Guys, listen up. There's about 10,000 items in every supermarket in America. At least 10,000 items. Let's take one of those items. Bananas. You guys listening? What did I say? Bananas, okay? How many people, chat, how many people do you think it takes to get the bananas from the grower to the supermarket? How many people are involved? Give me numbers, please. Nobody's doing numbers. Give me numbers. Guys,
there's a built-in delay, don't forget, Rich.
They're not participating. Soul gets the end.
You got to give them a minute.
Yeah.
Babidi says several hundred.
Several hundred. No. The answer is millions and millions and millions. And here's why. Because of the chaos of an unplanned society. Because think about it. Let's not even talk about the growers. Okay. Let's talk 7.4 people. Yeah, okay. So let's do, now they're being smartasses, but I love you guys. So think about this. There's a boat, and the boat went to pick them up at the dock and put them on the boat. Now they're going to take them somewhere to sell them, right? To a supermarket or wherever. Now the boat had to be made by somebody, right? It didn't just exist. It had to be made by somebody. The people running around on the boat that are running the boat, the first mate, the captain, all those people, they're not running around in bare feet. They got sneakers or whatever they're wearing so they don't slip and fall all over the place, right? So everything that was made that helped, this is in a chaotic society, everything that's involved in getting those bananas to the supermarket, it counts. Because there could be, think about this. When you're building a car in Detroit, okay, the guy that's on the assembly line, one of the guys, he could hate your effing guts if he ever met you. But it doesn't matter. Because of him, you got a car. And yet the commies, going back to the boat with the bananas, the commies would say, well, and they did, the Soviets, they said, okay, you're going to build this ship to deliver produce. All right. And because it was planned, they forget to put a compass on and they get lost at sea. And it's just, an example. Because a planned economy never works the way that a chaotic one does. The free market always works because anything that is needed, okay, the mother of invention is necessity, right? It always works that way. Let me see, top bird, top fountain. Yeah, and so that's what Stossel's trying to say. We don't need to read more.
Yeah, I got to tell you what happened to me once in the office. There's this guy who's a really nice guy, but obviously a totally ingrained socialist. And he says to me one day, he says, he says, why don't you think universal basic income is good? Wouldn't you really like to be here and practice your craft and not have to worry about, billing or doing anything? And he just couldn't understand my answer was, if I was getting paid anyway, why would I motivate myself to learn what I did and to come to work every day?
Exactly. Exactly right.
Give me a break. Why would I be here? Bottom line. But Rich, I've done terrible things for money in my life. Like get up early and go to work.
Oh, I can't stand that. Yeah.
Terrible.
Yeah. Oh, every morning. Every Monday morning, I wake up and I look in the mirror and I go, Monday, you evil bitch. You came again. Here you are again. Right?
But you know what? I don't do that anymore.
Yeah, I know, because you're retired.
Because I'm retired.
All right, here we go. Let me get a video in. See what we can find outside the courtroom. Oh, yeah, you got to see this. Okay, hold on. Let me pull this, okay? When I first saw this, I was like, oh, what an animal. Oh, my God. Even in a courthouse. Ready? So watch this. So. Okay. Fact checkers, there's a reason I'm showing this. All right. Let's watch him again and do it.
Now, did this guy have a beef with this particular person?
Watch. Just watch. Watch again. He looks at the guy, says some things, right? Boom, knocks him out, goes down to beat the living shit out of him. The man who got up off the bench and went over and sucker punched the guy in the face, that man raped his 14-year-old daughter. Now, do you feel different?
I don't feel different. I just feel more of the same. I just thought he was like this asshole. Now I think he's like an evil asshole.
Who, the guy that punched him?
Oh, who are you
The
talking about?
guy that got up off the bench and punched the guy in the face.
The guy that went down.
Got hit, raped his 14-year-old daughter. That was the father to hit the guy.
Okay, the one that went down.
No,
the
one guy that did the punching was the father of the.
And the guy that went down was the rapist.
Was the rapist, right?
Okay, well, I'm sorry, complete misunderstanding what I said before. Forget about it.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I know. That's why I figured you didn't understand what I was talking about.
Yeah, I didn't quite catch the significance.
It said it right on the screen at the bottom. It literally said it. I was hoping nobody read it because I wanted to reveal it myself.
But yeah, you asked me if I feel different morally or legally. Morally, I feel that he was completely justified. He should have hit him harder.
And from what I understood, go ahead, finish. Then I'll tell you.
Legally, he's in trouble. But
well, yeah. Well, from what I understand, the guy's lawyer did all the usual tactics. We're going to delay. We're going to delay. We're going to delay, right? And he overheard them talking to his lawyer then, and the guy's like, I can't be here. I got things I got to do and all that. And the man's sitting there going, you raped my 14-year-old daughter, and you're upset that you have to be in the courthouse? And just said, That's enough. I'm done. And went up,
But
hit the
you want to
guy,
know something though?
beating the shit out of him.
If they do charge this guy with assault,
No one will find him guilty.
it put one parent on that jury.
Yeah, nobody will.
Nobody's going to find him guilty.
There was a case I saw where there was a guy who his son wanted to take Taekwondo, and he took him to a dojo. And the guy that ran the dojo became close to his son, and he was teaching him, extra stuff at night and all. And here it turns out he molested his son. So the guy took off when the cops were going after him. He took off and he went to Canada. So then authorities went up there and got him, and they brought him back. And the scene was, the news was there, and they were showing it was in the airport, and the guy had the cuffs behind him and he was walking. The cops were walking him, and you don't see it until it happens. There was a guy, you didn't know who he was. He was on one of the payphones, and as they walked by, it was the father, and he comes out with a gun and shot the guy in the head, dropped the gun, put his hands up, and laid down on the ground. And the cops are like, "Oh shit, what happened?" And they went over him, and he said, he raped my daughter. And the cops were like, "Oh, geez." So they went to try him, because you have to. You murder somebody, there has to be a reckoning. You have to try him, and they couldn't. They went through 3 grand juries. This is up in Detroit. 3 grand juries. They couldn't get an indictment.
Couldn't get an indictment.
Couldn't get an indictment.
I saw that film. I can't remember how long ago. It's a while back.
Oh yeah, I'll never forget it, because I saw it. I'm like, oh my!
I saw that film. I remember I watched it like 2 or 3 times, and it went, yeah, holy cow.
Was that who it was? Let me see.
Yeah, he was just, and I remember. And the thing is, if you remember, he was on the payphone, and he didn't have a little gun. He had this huge piece, and he kind of had it just in front of him so you couldn't see.
That's the guy. Oh my God, huge. That's the guy. You got it. Damn, Commander, you got it. That's the guy. I'm looking at him now. I don't want to show it.
Gary Plauché? Yeah, we don't need to advertise him.
Yeah, I'm not gonna show it. The question that law enforcement asked Jody's father, Gary Plauché, seconds after television cameras recorded Gary shooting and killing Jody's kidnapper. Wow.
Well, I know if anybody was threatening my family, I would do what I needed to do.
Him.
I would do what I needed to do.
Yeah. But the guy that I saw would look younger, and he had a baseball cap on when he was on that payphone. That might have been him, but later on in life. But whatever. Let's get back. We'll play. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on.
Yeah. Hang on. Let's see. Something on Gavin Newscomb.
Yeah, we haven't talked about good old Gavin all night.
Oh, I know. We got a couple too. Hang on. Oh, let me do this one, because this one is like, oh, Tim Walz again. Ready? Oh, this is incredible what he did. What a jerk off. What a stupid jerk off.
And when is his term over? He's not running again. When is he out of there?
I don't know, but watch this. Ready? Tim Walz calls limping shooting victim Steve Scalise a bootlicker for online walking cast photo. Now, let me show you the photo. All right. That's Scalise on the left, and I forget the congressman on the right. I forget. Who is it?
No, it's.
I can't remember.
The guy. That's
the guy on the left is Steve Scalise. He was the whip. He was the majority whip.
The cast is on the guy in the blue suit.
Yeah, but this guy, that's because Steve Scalise has the piece of the on his foot.
Okay. Oh, so they're just.
That's because no, hold on. That's because Steve Scalise was shot by a liberal leftist that was a Bernie bro, and he has to wear that for the rest of his life. So when he did that, these 2 guys, he goes, look, I got a cast, and they both went, you look alike. And so as a joke, they took a picture. Well, this asshole, Tim Walz, calls him a bootlicker, right? Let me read it for you. On Thursday, Republican House Majority Leader Steve Scalise posted a lighthearted pic of himself with House Minority Whip Tom Emmer. That's who it is. Tom, good man. Comparing the medical boots on their legs. Democratic Governor Tim Walz lashed out. See what he said? The House Bootlicker Caucus is officially up and running. Like, what an a-hole. I mean, you think somebody go, whoa, wait a minute, you don't know about Steve Scalise? Steve Scalise, because Bernie was saying that the Republicans want your children to die. They want to take away your grandmothers. They want to take away granny's health care. That's why we're going to have communist health care, right? And so this asshole drives to a ballpark where the Republicans were practicing for a congressional game they were going to play against the Democrats. And he went up and started shooting people in the field, and he shot Scalise, and Scalise very nearly died. Okay, because I think he was shot twice. He very nearly died. He had to have several surgeries to save his life. And this asshole reduced it to call him a bootlicker. Unbelievable. That's beyond unbelievable. So, comparing medical boots on their legs, Democrat Governor Tim Walz lashed out at fellow Minnesotan Emmers, calling him and Scalise members of the House Bootlicker Caucus. Does Walz seriously not know why Scalise is forced to wear that walking cast? The online backlash to Walz was immediate, like a well-deserved boot to the head. Exactly. Here, Gunther Eagleman, he's great. Says the bootlicking fraud. Brian Hegseth. The fraud governor throwing stones from his glass house. Here we go. And it's a lame, limp, twisted throw at that. And many posters point out Walz is totally tone deaf. Scalise wears a medical boot because he was shot by a leftist gunman who was inspired by the type of ignorant rhetoric Walz often churns out. So this guy wrote to him, do you know he was nearly murdered by a whack job who was whipped up by rhetoric, much like the kind you spew? Shut your face, you oxygen bandit. I love that. There you go. He was shot by a Democrat and almost died. Swell fella you are. Right? They pretend it didn't happen. Also, the shooter wanted to harm many more GOP politicians. Yeah, he was shooting at them all over the diamond. Steve Scalise walks with a cane because a Democrat shot him, so you think he'd get it by now. So shooter James T. Hodgkinson, targeted Scalise and several other Republican lawmakers during a GOP baseball practice in 2017. Thankfully, U.S. Capitol Police officers took him out before he killed anyone, right? But he almost killed him, right? The leader of the tampon caucus dude might want to sit this one out. Look at this. The memes are just awesome. It says, my fave. Look at this. Timpon. They ripped him a new ass. Superhero? No, super zero. There's George Soros' his son. And that's Alina, whatever her name is. She was Wiener's wife. They're now dating. They might even be married by now. I think they are. Anthony Weiner. That was it was what's her name? It was Hillary Clinton's like top person, top aide. I can't remember her name for the life of me right now. But pet owner, and there's the pet. Yeah. You know, Tim Walz can't stop sticking his foot in his mouth. Wow.
Check your super chat.
Oh, really? Another one? Oh, shit. Oh, there you go. Coffee break. Thank you, brother. I appreciate it. I shall buy that coffee. Wow, I got all these people chiming in.
Bobby, are you wondering what a C nut is?
Huma Abedin. Thank you. Huma Abedin. Yeah, that was her.
Yeah.
God, what?
Bobity's wondering what a C nut is. I don't know what a C nut is, but I remember there's an ancient king called King Knut. C-N-U-T. It's the king you don't talk about to boys in middle school.
Uh-oh, we're going to have a bad word about to appear. We're one letter away. Ah, jeez. You guys did it. Why'd you do that? Oh, well.
They're doing it. They're doing it.
They did it. It's done. Nothing we can do.
No, but really, there was a guy by the name of King Knut.
Oh, okay.
C-N-U-T.
All right.
And you don't want to talk about it in middle school.
All right. All right. Here's a moron's moron. This is this Kim Bass, man. I mean, oh, good Lord. Let me see this. Failed dumbass mayor wants to give meth heads free teeth. Ready?
How many people who are unhoused that you meet have no teeth at all? They don't have teeth. Why? Because meth rots your teeth. you can't succeed without teeth. So there needs to be comprehensive health care provided to people.
Good. You take this one, Jay.
Where do you start?
I know.
This lady, and I use the term loosely. This individual is so cracked out that you got to wonder. I mean, she's talking about these people succeeding. Excuse me.
Yeah.
These homeless meth heads. They will never do. They've already proved how well they can. That's why they are where they are. What they need is not new teeth. They need institutionalization to see if we can clean them up at all.
Exactly.
We don't need new teeth for them. We need something.
Someone contact those Neanderthal dentists. Yeah.
But yeah, this. I mean, this is like jaw-droppingly stupid.
Yeah, because she's thinking, like most liberals, that, well, who are we to judge them for what they do? We just need to help them.
Yeah, no.
They
We
vote
can
for
judge
me,
it.
they can do all the crack they want.
If we're paying for it, we get to judge.
Yeah, but they think it's their money. The Democrats think it's their money. Bill Clinton said it one time. He goes, "Well, it's because they think it's their money." And Limbaugh had a field day where he goes, "It is our money. You're spending our money."
Commander, not sure what you meant, but thank you.
What happened? The dumber it sounds, the more profound the Democrats consider it. Yes, that's absolutely true.
Yeah. So I just don't know what to say about this woman. She is like so off her rocker.
She's so stupid, is what she is.
I mean,
Let's just
how? What? How? I mean, you're okay. I mean, you put lipstick on a pig. You know what it is?
It's a pig with lipstick.
It's a pig with lipstick.
Yeah.
So what are you going to have when you give these people good teeth? You're going to have homeless meth heads with better teeth.
Right. This is all right. I just found this. This is it right here.
Have you ever danced with the blue-haired devil in the pale moonlight? That's what I ask to all my prey who has to listen to me talk and act crazy all day and protest shit I know nothing about. I am the face of mental illness. I am a liberal. Have you ever
That's exactly right. I'm a mentally ill person. I am a liberal.
Yeah.
The
I
discussion
swear.
comes full circle.
I swear
That's unreal.
in the future, an ICD-9 diagnosis or an ICD diagnosis. We're up to, I think, ICD-10 or ICD-11. I don't remember. It's a psychiatric diagnostic manual, but there should be an ICD diagnosis for liberalism. There really needs to be, because it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever.
Yeah.
All you have to do to become a liberal is remove all common sense and any sense of reality, and poof, there you are.
I'm telling you. Here we go. Here's Pratt. I want you guys to see him. This guy could become the next mayor of Los Angeles, and I'm telling you, he would clean it up. Because he would clean it up. Here we go.
But in just the sense, it's an easy way out. Oh, we're solving this. We're working on this. Two ways you can look at it. I think they're all criminals. Thankfully, I've talked to the Justice Department sources, and city officials are going to go down. They are complicit. Here's the hard part about etching these people. They're literally taking money with poker chips, goods and services. Criminals are smart now. They're not just saying, Zelle me the money.
Right.
But from my sources, we are going to see actual city officials go down. Not quick enough, because they got to frame these people up. But again, how does Spencer stop this when he's mayor? I've met with the criminal investigation team, the IRS, 6 times. First week in office, you bring all of them in.
This guy is so prepared to take over and fix things. If he doesn't win, it's a travesty.
Yeah, well, they don't want him to win because he's going to expose their failures.
Yeah, exactly. Because, like I said earlier, presidents going all the way back 100 years. Yeah, we want to do this, we want to do that. We just couldn't get it done. Trump, hold my beer, goes out, tries it, does it in record time. People go, it was too easy. You know?
Yeah, what was it? No Brains Joe said that, well, he can't do anything about the border. He needs new legislation from Congress. And it turns out we didn't need new legislation. We just needed a new president.
Right. Well, the thing is, too, like Obama, when Trump ran the first time, remember when Obama was doing it? He thinks he's going to turn the economy around. What's he got? Like a magic wand? And I saw a meme where it goes, ta-da, and it has Trump with a magic wand because he turned the entire economy around. Remember that? In the first 6 months, they turned the economy. Let me finish this.
We audit every NGO, every document that hasn't been shredded. Now, some people, insiders at City Hall, have told me, they're shredding these documents. I have more faith in my criminal investigation team. They'll be able to figure out without the documents, even if they're shredded. That's what's happening. They're shredding the documents.
So let me ask Karen back.
Isn't that crazy? That dude is so prepared to run City Hall in Los Angeles.
Yeah, and it kind of sounds like, I don't know this for a fact, but I heard when they were waiting for Trump to come in for his second term, there were like all of these mobile document shredded trucks running around DC.
It's true. They're all shredding. And it's it's kind of illegal to do that,
Well, yeah, depending what they were shredding, it is very illegal.
Oh, yeah.
And if it had anything to do with the president, it's definitely illegal. Because if the president starts to write a letter and says, "Dear George," and puts it aside because he meant to say "Dear Brian,"
right,
that's just fucking protected. That's like a presidential document.
Did Dr. Jade throw an F-bomb?
I could do it again if you want.
I'm going to throw another F-bomb. We have another Fetterman moment. There we go.
He's wonderful. I like him.
I know. I like the guy. Who knew, right? Here we go.
Look at the primaries, all across in the Senate and in the House, and look at the kinds of people that have already been elected. Like, for example, the mayor in Seattle. She's an absolute socialist, if not more. And now people, hey, I'm leaving, and she's like, bye, and just describe that kind of a thing.
Think about it. He just trashed members of his own party. Let me bring it up again. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got to leave the Democrat Party.
He has to. He really does.
And even if he doesn't want to, I don't think they're going to let him continue.
Right. There you go. Well, I no, they would want him. There's already. I have the inside scoop is there are a lot of Republicans that are in the ones that can do it for him that are already talking to him, saying, "We want you to come over. You share a lot of what we have."
Yeah, but
even
if he went independent,
right?
The fact is, even if he wants to stay Democrat, they're not going to let him.
But if he went independent, then I think it depends on who they caucus with.
Yeah, he would be independent, caucusing with Republicans.
He should, because then that helps with the majority. But let me read this. Senator John Fetterman called out several rising Democratic stars on Wednesday as outright socialist or communist in the party's efforts to cater to the fringe base. Quote, "I think the extremism is driving it without a doubt," Fetterman said in a Reason interview. Look at the primaries, all across the Senate and in the House, and look at the kinds of people they've already elected. Like, for example, and he talks about her, right? Let's go down. Fetterman was referring to Seattle Mayor Katie Wilson, lunatic, who last month laughed off the idea of millionaires leaving the state based on her support for a progressive tax. She actually was that stupid, thinking, they're not going to leave. They love me, right? Quote, "I think the claims that millionaires are going to leave our state are like super overblown. And if the ones that leave, like, bye, I think every millionaire should now leave." I mean, that's what they're doing out of California, because they're doing a wealth tax in California. And a wealth tax happens every year. It's not just a one-off. They said it's a one-off in Cali. I know they said that.
Yeah.
No, it's not going to be a one-off.
Nothing so permanent as something temporary.
Yeah, there's nothing so permanent.
And did you hear what Kathy Hochul was talking about the people from New York that moved to Florida, and this is great. Talk about narcissism.
Oh yeah.
She says, "Oh well, I know they didn't move to get a nicer governor."
Yeah. Well,
These people are
also,
just.
do you remember what the idiot before her said? He said, if you are a Republican in New York, get out. Get out now. He said, because you don't belong here. You do not share our values. Therefore, you do not belong here. Get the hell out. And so you know what happened?
They did.
Got the hell out. Yeah, they got out. I
And
remember.
Finally, Kathy Hochul's up there saying, well, we have lost a lot of our tax base.
Right. Well, I know that Rush Limbaugh used to live in New York. And they kept telling him, get out, get out. He went, fine. He went down to Palm Springs. He lives down there, and they were complaining because of the money that he took with him. And see, what happens is then when, like, I'm surprised. Actually, they are doing it. The California legislature, when they found out that all these billionaires are leaving, like Zuckerberg left, and he's on an island in Florida right now, right? He moved everything down there. And they're saying, though, well, no, you're not going to get away with it. We're going to go after you for the money. And I'm sitting there going, you have no personal jurisdiction over them if they're outside of your jurisdiction. Now, they might be able to hit them for the year, but Zuckerberg kept going public and saying, I have been living in Florida since January of this year. I have not lived in the state of California one day, so you can't touch me.
Yeah, but has he made any money through businesses there?
Well, that's the thing. At first, they're talking about it's an income wealth tax, not a corporation wealth tax. So it's talking about an income. It doesn't matter because his personal jurisdiction is down there, and he moved his business down there. So that's the point. And I think that's why he went on the island. He needed space that it was plenty of, and that you should see the home that he bought. Unbelievable money. But still, I don't begrudge anybody for making money, right? But the problem is when they always do it by, oh, we're just going to tax the rich, and then it filters down to you and me, and they're going to do the same damn thing with this wealth tax. A wealth tax is a tax on money that's already been taxed. Okay,
Rich, tax the rich, tax the billionaires is tax the middle class, because you put the tax out there, the billionaires leave, the millionaires leave, and it goes where? To the middle class.
This is why I always have said Democrats always cry out that they're the champions of the middle class. They hate the middle class. Everything they do harms the middle class. And they'll turn around and go, oh, we didn't mean it. It was like in Boston, they had when the yachting industry, they put a 50% tax on yachts to build them, to sell them, the whole 9 yards. And so they said it was going to help the little guy, right? Because they were going to get that money. But the little guy was the ones that got harmed because they all lost their jobs. Because the yachting industry said, screw that. We're not working for a loss here. You're going to take 50% of every, like, it was like the steel industry in the United States. They said, oh, they were greedy corporate owners. No, not at all. What happened was the Democrats put extra taxes on the steel industry. And it was at that time, I think it was the 70s, it was at that time when industries around the world, they got to change up to newer equipment, newer machines and whatnot of how to do business, right? And that's what they were doing. They were putting millions out. The Democrats made a tax law that said that you had to pay 50% on every piece of equipment you bought to retool your company. So you pay $1 million. You got to pay $500,000 in taxes on that $1 million piece of equipment. So that, and then the unions, the steel unions, steel workers, they wanted like 30% of profits. They're like, we're not going to make any money. We're not going to. Why would we be in business? So they just let it crumble. They said, the hell with it. And the Democrats, neither the Democrats nor the unions said that they would back down.
Do you know who benefits from the $20 or $30 minimum wage for fast food? You know who benefits from that?
Well, nobody, because it's not going to happen.
Automation, the automation industry.
Well, I did that in my video this week. With with the video I did on AOC saying she wants a $30 minimum wage. I
Yeah.
pointed out, I said, look,
That's right.
that's how Robo-Burger. I said, remember half of that?
That's right.
When Bernie Sanders kept saying $15 an hour. Remember that? And it was for the McDonald's people up in Boston. And so what happened is the McDonald's people said, you know what? Screw that. We're going to do Robo-Burger. And that's why now you walk into most of these fast food places, you don't have a person behind the counter. You have a little window and you start, and you make your order. And then people in the back still cook it. But there's some places where the robots do everything. Like they got one person working there in case something goes wrong, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, they got one person to transfer the food from the robot to the.
A lot of them don't even do that. It's if something's wrong, they'll be in the little uniform. But like if they got to do the fries, right? Somebody has to pour the second bit of peanut oil in there. The machine can't do that. It's stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because I've seen it. I watched the documentary on it.
That's right. That's right. I did watch that video this week, and that's who's benefiting.
Holy crap! But they did it to themselves.
But that's who's benefiting is the automation industry.
Right. And you know what? I pointed out in my video. The robot, right? It never calls out sick. It doesn't have a freaking attitude. It never asks for a vacation. It doesn't. It always does its best job. Doesn't get tired. Right.
Doesn't argue with you. Doesn't embarrass you.
Give you lip. Exactly. Right. Doesn't steal from you. So why not? No, they don't care about the people. The people wanted $15 an hour for an unskilled job. They got skilled. No, you don't. And you know what else? I love how the Democrats always scream this shit. They say, well, the little guy is going to get hurt if he doesn't get arrested. No, they don't. Fuck them. They don't care about the little guy. Every time a Democrat comes out and says, I want to raise the minimum wage, it's to help the unions. Because the unions throw millions of dollars of their dues money at Democrats, because then Democrats give them favorable laws, right? But the reason why they do this is because most unions in the United States tie their salaries to the minimum wage. In other words, they're like 50% higher than minimum wage. That's how they do it. So if minimum wage goes up 20%, the little guy gets $1.25. This guy who's already got an overinflated salary to begin with, a union guy, he'll get $5, $6 an hour. And that's the payback. So the Democrats, they take the money in from the unions, and that dues money that you pay as a union worker. I got nothing against union workers. Greatest people on the planet. It's the bosses that are assholes. So you pay your dues money. It's supposed to go towards contract arbitration. In other words, you're going to hire the lawyers that are going to say to the management, look, you had an extra better year last year, and it's going to get even better. Well, I want our guys to get a bigger cut. I've never been against that. I'm against public unions. So was FDR. He was against it too. I'm against public unions because who are you arguing with? The American people? We need to know. No. The Democrats? No. But private unions, yeah. Okay. And the Democrats always put, that's what she's doing now. She's trying to be a populist, like a communist populist. I want my progressive a-hole supporters to love me because I'm going to get them $30 an hour. And if they got $30 an hour, do you know what that means? That means everything's exponentially going to be more expensive because people can pay it. It's just going to screw everything up. She's a moron. Anyway, Fetterman then moved on to target New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani, who recently proposed a pay de terre tax, whatever, on luxury second homes owned by wealthy residents. Remember we did the story last week where Mamdani actually doxed Ken Griffin, who has given $2.1 billion in gifts to the city of New York, and he doxed his ass, gave the address and said it was Ken Griffin who spent $230 million, but he doesn't live in the city all the time. What the hell? He still pays property tax. He goes, what he's doing is he's taking advantage. Like in other words, he thinks that Ken Griffin bought that condo, whatever it is, part of the building that he owns, right? And that he only did it because he just wants to appreciate and value and sell it. The guy's been there for years. Okay, he goes there when he has business in New York, right? It's a Citadel group. It's a hedge fund group that he started. It's very famous. And so Zohran Mamdani, like a commie, just points to, well, he just wants to take advantage of, dare I say, the greatest city in the world, right? It's not the greatest city in the world anymore. There's so much shit going on in New York. But,
yeah, you were talking, you're talking about Seattle. I'm sure you heard, I can't remember if you talked about this in your video, but the CEO, I can't remember his name, the CEO of Starbucks.
Yeah.
He's personally left Seattle, and he's basically moving out. He didn't say he's leaving Seattle with the company,
right.
But they've created what he called a second headquarters where he's going to do most of his headquartering. And they closed a bunch of stores in Seattle.
Yeah.
I mean, Starbucks in Seattle, right? I mean, come on. Who'd have thunk it?
Right. Rich's voice is a little hoarse tonight. Yeah, I know. I had a cold this week. Yesterday I couldn't even talk. Everybody was like, "Oh, thank God." Yeah. I say,
your voice is a little.
Work, bitches. Immigrants need pain. That's awesome.
Your voice is a little hoarse today.
Yeah.
You mean like pony? You mean like a pony? Little horse, pony, small. Yeah. Never mind. It's not funny if you have to explain it.
It's not funny.
It's not funny if you have to explain it.
Well, you didn't have to. I just didn't want to. I wanted to ignore it. So the burgers a day. Yeah, this is a good one. Wait until you hear. Is this fun? All right, I think it's a cipher. Okay, ready? Yeah, cipher news. McDonald's sells 6.4 million burgers a day. So, where are all those cattle farms and processing plants? And why did we allow China to purchase all those farms that just happen to be adjacent to a military base? Think about that. Mixed scandal. All right. Here we go. Jet here. McDonald's claims it sells about 6.4 million burgers every single day, with about 5.4 million of those supposedly selling right here in the United States. That's an absolutely insane amount of beef when you stop and think about it. Burgers for breakfast, lunch, dinner, late night drive-through runs, road trips, bored teenagers, and hungover adults. So where the hell are all the massive cattle farms supplying this beef? Let's get into it. One guy is asking the million-dollar question most people never stop to think about. Where is all that beef actually coming from? Because if one fast food chain is moving millions of burgers a day, shouldn't we see the scale of that somewhere? Shouldn't there be massive cattle operations all over the place? Huge processing centers, slaughter facilities, transport hubs, and beef infrastructure so huge that you couldn't miss it? We see the golden arches on every corner, but we don't exactly see endless cows sitting behind them. So what gives? Granted, most people never think much beyond the wrapper. The burger appears kind of hot, sort of cheap, pretty fast, and identical almost everywhere. And the whole system behind it is nowhere to be found. You don't see these massive ranches or huge industrial processing plants. He's right. Where's the logistics? How come I don't see cold storage suppliers, inspectors, trucks, contracts, or distribution networks on every street corner, or on every street corner for that matter, or on any street corner, for that matter, the source? That's why this clip was so interesting. What clip? Oh, that's
the one just right there.
I thought that was it.
This man is asking the public a very simple question. He says McDonald's sells 6.5 million burgers in a single day, yet he has never seen any massive cow farms, cow rearing centers, or large slaughter facilities where huge numbers of cows are kept and killed to produce all that beef.
So I was curious the other day and found this online. McDonald's sells 6.5 million burgers in one single day. That's 195 million burgers a month. Now, I don't know about you, but I don't see cows lined up around every corner waiting to be turned into patties. I mean, seriously, do the math. Even if you stretched one cow into a bunch of burgers, you're still talking millions of cows just to keep up every day. So I started asking myself,
what did he start asking? Okay. So that's why this clip was so interesting to me. It starts with the simple, where's the beef question? But underneath that is a much bigger issue. We consume from systems that are so massive and so hidden that we can't even comprehend the scale of it. One burger looks totally ordinary. 6 million a day starts sounding like a magic trick. But is it? The truth is, most of us are completely disconnected from the systems feeding us. He's right. We see the burger, bag, and drive-through window. What we don't see is the cattle ranches, feedlots, slaughterhouses, processors, frozen patty suppliers, inspectors, trucking routes, and the distribution machine that has to keep the whole thing moving every single day. McDonald's explains its beef supply chain this way. According to McDonald's, the fast food chain, here we go, guys, the answer. According to McDonald's, the fast food chain's beef is obtained from a variety of farms across the globe. But the two biggest American suppliers are Oklahoma City-based Lopez Foods and Pennsylvania-based Keystone Foods. The McDonald's website claims that the organization uses responsibly grown ingredients. When you see responsibly, just know you're dealing with a leftist. Responsibly grown ingredients from the McDonald's community of farmers, and a commitment to build a better McDonald's, okay, with customer care in mind. We love you. That's why we're poisoning you with our bill. All right, considering the chain removed artificial preservatives and flavors from some classic menu items in 2018, McDonald's seems to understand the demand for simpler ingredients. Good for them. Lopez Foods, a pioneer of the meat packing industry with decades of experience behind it, has supplied McDonald's with beef patties since the late 1960s. How about that? Today, you'll find that Lopez Foods supplies meat not only to McDonald's, but also to Walmart, Starbucks, and Burger God. Burger God, it's Jesus. He's the manager on duty, a step above the king. All right, he is king as well. Keystone Foods, the family-run business that invented the individual quick freezing process for flash freezing meat, has also been a McDonald's supplier for decades. Beyond providing McDonald's with over 150 million pounds of beef annually, the business also provides millions of pounds of chicken. Okay, so now we know. So there is a place. I haven't gone to McDonald's, and I can't tell you how long. Hey, what's up, Simon? I don't see trees getting chopped down right next door. So how are these houses getting built? Exactly. Exactly, man. Let's see. I still haven't gotten over Jamie Oliver's chicken nugget video. And to be fair, it was on Chicken at the Least. Oh, my God. That's
yes,
fun.
but what part of the chicken is the nugget?
Yeah, really. Do you want to know?
Not really.
I want to know. Let me see. Been hearing the human meat in Muckus recently. Stay Southern Green is real. Yeah, it is. Why are they called hamburgers? I don't even know.
Oh, somebody's talking about, oh, is that Bobbity talking about pink slime? You know?
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know if I've experienced pink slime,
Germany.
but I guess
Hamburg, Germany. Sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I don't know if I've experienced pink slime, but I guess it's pretty disgusting. And I guess what they do is they I mean, you've seen ground beef, but they like grind it into molecular fineness, and it's more of a paste at that point. And then they add other stuff to it, and I mean, technically it's still beef, but
yeah. Can you say it backwards, Linda? Bun seed sesame, on onions, pickles, lettuce, sauce, special patty, beef, all two. Can you do that? I can't believe I still remember that from when I was a kid. I'd never eat a McDonald's burger, but I still love filet of fish once. Really? See, I never had one of those. I used to eat McDonald's, but and Burger God, but I haven't eaten fast food in so long.
And an admission, the one thing, and I haven't eaten it for ages because I make my own, but the breakfast sandwich that McDonald's makes, what do they call it? McMuffin.
The McMuffin? Yeah.
Or my dad used to call it a McFuckin'.
Oh, there you go. There was a comedian that once said about English muffins. He goes, I was over in a restaurant in England and I asked for an English muffin. They never heard of them.
Of course they haven't.
Right.
But yeah, actually I make my own now. English muffin, bit of an egg, a little bit of...
I make my own too, but I can't have the muffin anymore. Yeah. Let me see. Pink slime is watered hamburger so that it cooks up pretty bad.
Yeah, they grind it. There's something about they grind it almost.
Yeah, the bacon egg sandwich was the best. You're right.
Oh yeah, love that.
Egg sandwich.
I remember the day I was in a restaurant. I asked for that, and the lady says, "Honey, listen, order the bacon, eggs, and toast. It's cheaper. You just put it together yourself.
Oh, there you go. That's something.
And what was I going to say? I was going to say something. Yeah, the pink slime. There's something about the pink slime that they grind it to a much finer consistency till it's almost a paste, and it's pretty disgusting, I guess.
Yeah, I'm sure. Let's see. What else can we play? Yeah, this one's weird. This is a BLM video, right? It's the woman. I think she's one of the founders, right? One of the millionaires now, right? I think she is. And she's complaining because Netflix did something, and she's acting all angry and all, but at one point she breaks down laughing. So I don't know if this is real or not, but I mean, it's a video, so let's watch it. So it's BLM crying about George Floyd joke on Netflix. Here we go.
Again, it is not a laughing matter. We are here today to call your attention to the fact that an egregious, disgusting joke was made about George Floyd. Here we are about to memorialize George Floyd for year 6 after his brutal murder at the hands of the Minneapolis Police Department.
Nope.
The community is still experiencing grief and trauma.
Oh, really?
We have young people in our community who were children at the time. They're now teenagers, still dealing with the impacts.
Now, why don't they ever bring these young children? You know, Tyrone over here still chews the pencils off. I mean, they never bring them forward.
Of the police killing of George Floyd.
Watch.
And instead of allowing our community to grieve in peace, to celebrate George Floyd in peace, we have Netflix comedians making light of the brutal killing of George Floyd. It is unacceptable and it is unconscionable. Tony Hinchcliffe made a grotesque joke saying that George Floyd is looking up at us, laughing, and he can't breathe. When I saw the clip online, it made me sick to my stomach. But we are here to declare today that there needs to be accountability for Kevin Hart's Netflix roast.
Now,
Again,
I gotta now watch that roast.
That's why it's called it a roast. That's why you call it a roast. And pretty much nothing she said there made any sense. He did not die from. He was not murdered. He died from an overdose.
The knee was never on his neck.
If you look at it from one of the camera views, it looks like he wasn't on his neck.
It wasn't on his neck. It was on his shoulder.
The bottom line is, he was on his way or he was on his neck or not. The autopsy did not show any trauma to the neck. The autopsy did not show any trauma to the neck. That's not what killed him. He died of an overdose.
Yeah.
End of story.
Exactly. All right. Next. Let's see. We did that. Gillibrand thought. Yeah, Gillibrand. I love when a congresswoman gets, or congressperson gets.
Congress critter. Critter.
Yeah, I love when they. This is not like a big gotcha, but it's great because Senator Gillibrand from New York. Here we go. She's talking. Like, we'll get into it. She's talking to Scott Turner, part of the administration, right? So let's see. Gillibrand thought Scott Turner didn't know homelessness. She picked the wrong guy. We should just watch the video. Like, let me put it this way. He's housing and urban development, I believe. Yeah, he's the HUD secretary, right? And she's trying to like shame him. Well, you don't know anything about homelessness. Where do you hear this?
I'm gone if it's still record.
I don't want to. You know what? After you're gone, it's too late for the families that are suffering in New York today.
Why are they suffering?
What it's like to be a homeless little girl who has to have a Girl Scout troop just for other homeless little girls because that's all they have. That's the only consistency they have in their life. So I get you have a different vision.
It's happened in my family. Yes, ma'am, I do.
I need to know.
I'm not
if your
talking to you
stuff
about
is
what
working.
I've heard. I'm talking to you about what I know. And what I do know, the housing first model failed.
It did.
Record funding and record homelessness. I don't care what administration it is. You would not run your own household budget this way.
I get
you
it.
would not run
You've been
your
in charge
business
for over a
this
year.
way.
Now, this is the guy that the racist Donald Trump hired to run HUD.
Yeah, and he hates black people.
Yeah, hates black people. The racist. And remember who he had doing it the last time? Dr. Ben Carson.
Oh, yeah.
This way.
Remember,
You would
he
not
did
have
a
business.
damn good
So
job.
why is this okay for the American taxpayer? It's not okay.
Here's another question. Totally different.
So in other words, she thought she had a gotcha, right? And you know what happened? He had a family member who became homeless and was out on the streets and whatnot. And his immediate family, they went to her and they got her help. They let her stay with them while she was getting the help, right? Psychological help, drug counseling help, and all that. And now she's a productive person in society. It took like a year. So they do know what homelessness looks like up close. So she picked the wrong guy, you know. And I hear he's doing a bang up job too. Let's see. Next one. He said they're not doing it well. Georgia redistricting fight. We did that. Spencer Pratt.
Oh, you got Maxine Waters up here?
Oh, yeah. Oh, got to do low IQ, Maxine.
Oh, God, we haven't talked about Maxine in a while. My
I
God,
know.
she is awful. I think for me, it's a toss-up between her and Sri Thanadar as to who's the actual stupidest.
Oh, I know.
You know Thanadar? Sri Thanadar?
No.
Yeah. He is like...
Maxine Waters does a lot of talking, but says nothing at all. God, who's Max? What's his name? Thanadar? You there?
Yeah. Sri Thanadar.
What is he?
He's. Let me look it up. He's. I think he's out of Hawaii. Let's see.
Cool.
Yeah, he's a rep. He is
Scooby Snacks.
I think it's Hawaii. Let's see. Coming in.
Homeless Girl Scout cookies.
Hang on a second. It is where? What? House of? Oh, Michigan.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and yeah. Go ahead. Just share my screen for a second if you want.
Oh, where is it? You put something up?
I am right now.
Oh, okay.
If you want, it's just.
Yeah, I'll put it up. I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this one
Yeah,
out.
it's just okay. There he is.
Hold on, I gotta take that one out. I'll bring yours up. There you go. What does he do?
Oh, and this guy is a genuine doofus. You don't know.
Oh, he's a person of color, you bigot.
Yeah, I know, but he's also a doofus. And yeah, he's out of Michigan, which, like, surprise, surprise.
Yeah.
And he's a Democrat, surprise, surprise.
There you go.
And what a frickin' moron.
Does he speak English? He doesn't look like he speaks English.
He does,
That's
but
racist, Rich.
But it's not super articulate. He's definitely got an accent. And check your super chats.
Yeah, I just saw it. Oh wow, awesome.
So anyway,
YouTube chats tonight. They haven't been showed. Yeah, we showed them all night.
So that's
remember this?
That's
you're aware of Jake Monroe. Remember I talked to you about it.
Yeah, we talked about that.
I did. I talked to you about it. We had 3. 2 are yours, and I very much appreciate you. Yeah, we did talk to you about that. Jake Monroe. Remember I asked, I said, who is Jake Monroe?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, is it a band? Remember? I looked it up for you.
Yeah, so that's Sri Thanadar. And boy, if you, I mean, just for amusement, after the show, you should go look for some of his speeches. He is, and you got to bring Maxine up again, of course, but he is right up there with Maxine in terms of being total moron.
Here we go. Watch this. Guys, her face could literally stop bird shit in midair. She says nothing about them being illegal. It's people of color. Is that not bullshit?
You know,
a member of Congress.
It smells like a cow pen.
Yeah, it's bullshit.
Everybody.
And do we want to hear from Kamala?
Yeah, yeah.
This podcast interview only reminds us how lucky we are.
That's another one. Oh, yeah. We dodged a bullet with this woman.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my goodness.
But and I've said it before, if she would have gotten elected, we wouldn't have known any of this. We'd have just thought,
I want to go back. I want to go back to Anglo. We talked about this earlier. Is Jake Monroe, you're saying you asked him to play 42's work. Are you asking Jake Monroe to play it? Or are you asking 42 to play Jake Monroe? Because he probably can't play it because he'd get hit. He'd be dinged with a copyright. So let me know. Because I'll look into it if you want. I mean, if I can play it, I'll play it for you. I don't care. As long as I don't get dinged, you know? That's all right, folks. I have to go home. Oh, you taking off? I may be back. Just know I love you all. Yeah, we're going to be gone in a half hour. Sorry, brother. I was going to bring you in. Hang on. Let me play this. I'll talk to you later, though, if you're up for it. Okay, here we go. Listen to this. Well, let me bring it over so I can control it. Over here.
Say, look, this is a moment where there are no bad ideas. A no bad idea brainstorm is what I'd like to call it. And in that no bad ideas brainstorm, we talk about what we need to do and think about doing around the Electoral College.
Look at this.
We talk about the idea of Supreme Court reform, which includes expanding the Supreme
She's running again, just so you know.
Court. We invite a conversation about multi-members districts. We talk about, that if we win the Senate, which we should and we will, then the Senate Judiciary Committee should have rules that they put in place so when these people come before as nominees to the Supreme Court and lie, that they are held to account and consequence.
Wait a minute. What about every time you lie? Should you be held to account with consequences?
Not just that somebody goes on cable news and says they lied, but that there are rules in place to actually penalize people for lying to a Senate Judiciary Committee.
Well, you lied to a Senate Judiciary Committee multiple times. You lied every time you opened your fucking mouth when you were in the Senate.
That we agree that it is right to have ethics rules for Supreme Court justices. And
we should have ethics rules for senators.
Put those in place. Let's talk about statehood for Puerto Rico and DC.
This woman has never read the U.S. Constitution. DC cannot become a state. She just wants it there because it's all Democrats. They're all Trump-hating Democrats that live there. DC is not stateable because the Constitution said that you were to have a district. There was to be 10 miles by 10 miles by 10 miles by 10 miles square. And the reason they wanted a district and not a state, because they wanted land that all members of Congress can come to in a neutral area. If DC became a state, then DC would be partial to DC. Jackass. This woman is the dumbest son of a bitch, and she wonders why she lost.
These are the things I think that we've got.
You know, the Puerto Rican people have already shot down statehood, 3 times now? They voted on it. It was overwhelming. No, we don't want to become a state of the United States.
We've got to neutralize these.
We'll take Canada,
these red states from cheating.
Oh, the red states are cheating. You know what it is? These red states are cheating by not allowing illegals to vote.
Including blue states expanding their maps. And all of this, I think, is look, we got to fight fire with fire.
And then she didn't have anything. Look, we got to fight fire. Do you see that?
These folks are playing to win. We got to play to win, too.
Oh, you played it.
And I forget if we talked about it on the live stream or you said something in one of your videos, but
Hold on.
Yep.
Yes, Rich, I asked Jake Monroe to play 40's work. He acknowledged me. Didn't play anything. Wow. Are you talking about 42 songs? Yeah, I wrote a song for 42. And he's doing a video out of it. I can't wait to see the video. I can't wait because I love his songs. Oh, anyway, there we are.
So yeah, what
thank you again. I really appreciate it, Ango. Very much. Thank you, sir.
I can't remember whether you said it on one of the videos or we talked about it in a live stream. That what we should do is go back to the original definition of DC, because that would take a lot of that northern chip of Virginia that is deep blue and mix them back in with DC.
Right.
And then they can all just stew in their own oil.
I know.
It would take that part of Northern Virginia out of the Virginia voting pool.
Oh, I know. Yeah, that's what. Who was it? It was hell. I forget his name now. Guy on Breitbart. Damn, I have a brain fart. The guy who's the host on Breitbart News Daily, Mike Slater. He had said, "We got to create a new slogan: Make DC square again."
There you go.
Yeah, because it would take away northern. It would encompass northern. I got to get rid of the no bullshit banner. I forgot about that. What's it called? It would take away all those northern Democrats that always vote Democrat.
Yeah.
Because it's near DC, right? Well, Virginia and Maryland gave land so that they can create the district. Then Virginia said, we're going to take this land back. And so it's no longer square. And it's supposed to be a square according to the Constitution.
Do we want to have a feel-good story? We can talk about the Tennessee House Speaker. That's a feel-good story if I ever heard one.
Tennessee House Speaker. Which one? Where do you see that?
It's the second from the bottom of your list.
Middle list?
The list at the top of the Chopper House page.
Okay.
Above the videos, second to the last.
All right. After Fantastic Day with this guy? You said second one. Oh, Tennessee House. All right. The first one's not a story. That's a link to
Tennessee House Speaker.
Okay, there you go. Yeah. Okay, cool. Maybe we can do this. Is the Tennessee Star. All right, let me increase it. So, Tennessee House Speaker Cameron Sexton from Crossville in Tennessee announced Tuesday that Democratic lawmakers will be removed from all current House standing committee and subcommittee assignments following disruptions to last week's special legislative session on congressional redistricting. Remember, the Democrat woman got up on a table and started ranting, and she had a bullhorn, and she started fighting with the sergeant at arms. The disciplinary action comes after the Tennessee General Assembly approved a new congressional redistricting plan expected to produce a 9-0 Republican congressional delegation. Now, think about that. They did it legally. Virginia did not. Think about that. Governor Bill Lee has since signed the map into law. Now, what do they displaced like one Democrat, right? It was like 9-1, something like that, or 8-1. So during the 3-day legislative session, chaos erupted inside the Tennessee Capitol as Democratic lawmakers and protesters staged loud demonstrations against the proposed redistricting maps. I'm sure they did. Just tell them, go live in Virginia. Videos from the House floor showed tense confrontations, including Democratic legislators walking out in protest while demonstrators and Democratic members using whistles and air horns to disrupt proceedings. State troopers were forced to remove several protesters from the gallery as disruptions intensified. There was one, they were removing a woman. She goes, I'm a member of this body. I said, it doesn't matter. You can't do that. Who do you think? Yes, we can. You're being disruptive. In a letter sent to House Minority Leader Karen Camper, guilty, Sexton accused members of the Democratic caucus of attempting to disrupt the democratic and legislative processes and create disorder on the House floor during the second extraordinary session of the 114th General Assembly. Now think about the pattern here, guys. In Texas, when they were going to do the districting, all the Texas Democrats fled the state. They went and stayed in Illinois, which is the highest gerrymandered state in the union. Okay, ironically. and they ran away. They'll do anything they can because they said with them not there, they won't have a quorum. They can't vote. But they did, and they did it anyway. So Saxon said Democratic members engaged in conduct including interlocking arms in the well of the House, blocking aisles on the House floor, and coordinating with protesters in the gallery to interrupt proceedings through the use of noisemakers and prohibited props. He further said Democratic caucus members encouraged disruptions in coordination with paid protesters and attendees in the gallery, and cited what he described as a flagrant disregard for the permanent rules of order of the House. As a result, Sexton wrote, members of the Democratic caucus will receive individual letters removing them from all standing subcommittees of the House, except where membership is required pursuant to Rule 65 of the House Rules, whatever. It governs the structure of Tennessee House Standing Committee. That's fine. All right, so there's some accountability there, right? I hope so.
Nice. About time. You skipped over the story about Anna Paulina Luna taking the CIA to task.
Yeah, we're going to do that. This was a crazy thing that happened. What do you hear this? Okay, so the CIA has 24 hours to return the documents to Tulsi Gabbard's office, or else I will make a motion to issue a subpoena. These documents have been requested by Congress.
Isn't Tulsi Gabbard in charge of the CIA? Doesn't
Yes.
she, as the
She's
DNI?
Yes.
As the DNI, she oversees all the intelligence agencies.
Yes. Yes. Hang on. I want to see what this. Let's see what that is. Yeah. MK Ultra is illegal human experimentation program.
Yeah.
Designed and undertaken by the CIA. So they took the JFK files, probably because the CIA killed him. And they took that. Yeah, I believe it too. Let's see what this says. CIA seized 40 boxes of JFK and MK Ultra files that were being processed by the Office of the Director of National Intelligence for declassification. How about that? CIA agents just went into her office and stole them. Are you kidding me? When did she write this? I wonder if they issued them. Yeah. The left, man. They want everything rigged, like I said. Everything.
You know what's funny? I remember reading a story about JFK and the assassination, and they talk about how there really couldn't have been another shooter up on the grassy knoll, because with the way he would have been behind the fence and all that, he could have only been 3 feet tall. Now I want you to share my screen.
Okay, hold on. Oops. Go ahead. There you go.
So yeah, this is a standard sniper shooting position.
Yeah.
It is not extraordinary in any way. And they say, oh, it couldn't have been somebody up there because they could only been 3 feet tall. Well, what about the kneeling or the sitting position?
Right.
The kneeling position. I mean, did people even think before they talk anymore?
My son's a sniper in the U.S. Army, 1st Cavalry.
Yeah, you ask him about the sitting and kneeling positions, he'll tell you.
Yeah.
You know, this is not, or, you know, yeah, it was probably somebody in a kneeling position in a suit that shot him. Yeah, there was somebody up there. There was definitely a second shooter, as far as I can tell. And I would be not surprised at all if it was the CIA.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't either.
I mean, I know who shot JFK. Now, what's his name may have taken a poke at him.
Blondie, I love that.
What's his name from the Texas Book Depository may have taken a poke at him. But
he said he was a patsy of the CIA. He said it.
But I know who shot Kennedy. It's very easy. You may not know the name of the person, but who had the juice to organize that, and more importantly, the juice to keep the file closed for another 25 years when it was supposed to be open.
Yep.
And I mean, 3-letter agencies, right? The CIA, the FBI, maybe
NSA,
Secret Service.
No, Secret Service was pretty innocent until Obama.
I'm just saying the 3-letter agencies have the power to do this.
Oh, yeah.
You know, maybe even the KGB, having paid a bunch of people off.
Yeah, Bush ran the CIA for a while. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. He ran the CIA, and so I know what happened. I don't know the people's names, and I would be not surprised at all if LBJ ordered it, or you know.
Oh, me either, man.
But
yeah.
But that's why the box was sealed, and then when it was sealed for 25 years, and then when it was supposed to be opened, it was sealed for another 25 years.
I want to read something else about Anna Paulina Luna. Here we go. I looked it up. It says Anna Paulina Luna is not a Scientologist, and her religious background is defined by a different faith. Background: Luna has stated that her father raised her to follow Messianic Judaism. Okay, the girl Allison that I had as a friend in here, she's a Messianic Jew, which is an evangelical movement that incorporates Jewish traditions into Protestant Christianity. Family context: while some extended family members and friends have disputed certain details regarding how she practiced her faith growing up, there is no public record or evidence of her being affiliated with the Church of Scientology. I don't think many Republicans would. There's some that are Mormons, yeah, but I don't think there are many. Yeah, CIA and the mob. Read Whitney Webb's book, One Nation Under Blackmail.
Yeah, CIA and the mob.
Lucky Luciano was deported back to Sicily with a couple of his capitanos, right? And the fact of the matter was, he wasn't really deported. He was sent over there. Sensitive to what? I'm saying nothing. I know. What am I sensing? Oh, the Jews. Yeah, okay. But what's it called? He was sent over there to spy on the other mobsters that were still in Sicily, according to her book. And she has all the receipts too.
Well, I think it was Lucky Luciano during World War II. He actually was in league. So what he had all the sailors. They would land at the port, and they would one by one. They'd come up into his office and they'd mark on a map where the German ships were or where the German supplies were.
Yeah.
And as long as he kept that information going to the government left him alone.
Yeah. Here we go. Let's do this one. Back to the Virginia thing. This is something that we were never told. Here's a little known part of the VA redistricting rule Dems don't want to talk about. So Dems just took a very expensive faceplant in Virginia. The story most people will hear is the Virginia Supreme Court just struck down a Dem-backed redistricting referendum. This means Virginia keeps its current congressional map and Republicans hold on to their 5 districts. That right there is a huge win. But the juicier part is what happened behind the scenes. Dems spent a massive fortune trying to, it was like 20 million, trying to ram this unconstitutional mess through. They poured through so much political capital into it, celebrated it, and hoped it would allow them to steal back several House seats. Then reality came knocking, courtesy of the state Supreme Court. They took one look at it and basically said, nope. That's the part that makes this ruling so brutal. This wasn't a legal ass whooping. It was a very costly and embarrassing reminder that Dems love precious democracy right up until the process gets in the way of their obsession with power. And this time, after all the money, muscle, and chest thumping, they got stuffed into a locker by the Supreme Court of Virginia. This means the current map stays in place and Dems don't get the cheap power grab they were counting on. Let's go down. Virginia court has overturned it. Yeah, we knew all that. Here's a copy of the image. Okay. Dems lost so big after pouring so much money and credibility into a referendum that was supposed to rig the playing field for them. And just like that, the big expensive plan crumbled. This all what I'm eating, guys, is Pine Brothers because it's the best thing for my throat. I keep chewing. I know. This also comes at a time when Republicans are finally starting to understand the redistricting game. Dems have been playing hardball for years, and now they don't know what to do now that Republicans are fighting back. See, that's the thing. Democrats will do something for decades. Then if the Republicans start doing the same thing, they're cheating, and you're like, wait a minute, you guys did it. Oh, you're a racist. And Virginia just became a major piece of that story. But the redistricting news is all over the map, pun intended. Tennessee just realized a new 2026 congressional map that removes the state's last remaining Dem seat, which had been tied to race-based districting arguments. You imagine that? That's Tennessee right now. Isn't that a beautiful picture? Let's see what it says.
In a high-stakes redistricting fight ahead of the midterms, President Donald Trump is urging Republican states to move quickly. Louisiana is delaying primaries for House races after the Supreme Court ruled its map unconstitutional, since lawmakers used race while drawing a district.
Yep.
Now other red states are reacting to the ruling. Governors from Alabama and Mississippi scheduled a special session to discuss redistricting.
Yep.
Tennessee's governor told Trump he's open to redrawing, adding another Republican seat. This week, Florida lawmakers approved a new congressional map that could add 4 Republican-leaning seats.
You see, they're all out there now, all over Facebook, the libnuts, saying, well, they just did it. Virginia just did it because of Texas. No, Texas, they're the ones that started. Texas did it to respond to New York. New York.
Well, have you looked at New England, the 6 New England states?
Yeah. We've seen them. There's like 33% Republicans, 0 members.
Yeah.
The voters. 0 members. But the thing is, in New York, Kathy Hochul broke the law to do it, whereas Texas followed the law. Hochul had a commission. See, the Democrats they virtue signaled off. Well, we're going to do an independent commission to talk about redistricting so that we don't let those rascally Republicans redistrict if they take power again. Hochul said to the commission, we need to redistrict. They said, no, we don't want to. She said, well, then screw you. We're going to do it through the legislature anyway. So she broke the freaking law, all right? Anything for power, right? And so Texas said, you know what? That wasn't fair. So guess what? We're going to do something, but we're going to follow the law. And they did. Well, now it's turned. Then for a while they were saying, "Oh, these Republicans with that Texas thing, they're just losing big time." No, the Republicans are going to start. I believe right now they have 217 seats. I'm talking that are red, that we know are red, or very strong leaning red. Okay, they need one more. There's 11 toss-up states. They need to win 1 of 11 toss-up states. And Trump's sending that voter integrity army into every single state. Guess what? They're going to lose. Republicans are going to kick their ass. Look how much our side can win when Republicans actually do their jobs. Exactly. The redistricting war is now national, and Republicans are in it to win it. They're stacking up gains, fighting over pending states, and forcing Dems to deal with the reality that the map can cut both ways. Here, Republicans are dominating the redistricting war. Confirmed. California, +5 Democrats. Utah, +1 Democrat. Florida, +4. Missouri, +1 Republicans. North Carolina, +1 Republicans. Ohio, +2. Texas, +5. 14 Republicans to 6 Democrats. Go after yourself. Pending. Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, of course. Right? Tennessee, of course. They got that 1. Ha! And now they own it all. Virginia, 4 Democrats. Nope. Overturned. Look at that. We're kicking around.
Yeah. What the hell happened to Utah?
What do you mean?
Utah. It's one of the more Republican states.
Well, but Utah's got a large bunch of rhinos in there. They're all. It's one of the most red states out there. But I'm not going to say conservative. They're not conservative at all. I mean, Mitt Romney, for God's sake. Mitt Romney. The only one is Mike Lee. Is the only one that I would say, he's a real Republican. And he is.
Yeah, you're probably right. They're Republican,
Mormons.
but not
winner chicken dinner.
Conservative.
I go, sorry. What? Sorry, I didn't read properly. You won. Good on you. What'd you win? I go, I didn't read it all because I'm trying to. Hang on, I left 3 questions about. Oh, you won David Waffle House quiz. Oh, cool. Nice. I was shocked. I think it's mints. All right, cool, man. Good for you. Awesome. All right, so let's get rid of that.
Okay.
We got enough time for another video, I think. let's do this. We got a few. Hold on. We
I
did
think
the
you've done most of the videos.
Yeah, we did Maxine Waters. Let me see.
I think the only one you haven't done is about Spencer Pratt, already spoken to the Department of Justice. We did one on Spencer.
We played that.
Is that the one? I know we played one on Spencer Pratt.
Let me see. Do I have one of? Yeah, I have one of. Here's one.
Yeah, you played all the videos.
Here's AOC. I have this one with
Always
AOC.
good for a laugh.
Yeah, I didn't put the word video at the end for some reason. All right, so, oops. So, AOC responds to 2028 rumors. My ambition is way bigger than the press. She's running for God. Let's be honest. She's running
evidently.
Yeah, that's what she's doing. So, up to now, Nina Pinto Santa Maria Cortez is fueling fresh speculation about a possible 2028 presidential run. I think the donors, the Democrat donors, they go, okay, who do you want us to back? Well, we have AOC. Oh, for God's sake. Are you serious? Oh, for God. Call a Republican, see if they need some. I mean, that's what they're going to do because she's a blithering fucking moron.
Yes, but somebody asked a question the other day, which may explain her popularity. Somebody asked a question. They asked it in this way. They said, yes, she's a blithering idiot, a useful idiot, but whose useful idiot is she? That's the question.
Yeah.
Because maybe it's not her that they don't want to cross.
You know what they're going to do? They're going to stand there because somebody gave the riot act to Kamala. This is what I heard. Somebody came when they decided they were going to put her on because they didn't want her. Oh my God, they didn't want her, but she had the money because her name was on the ticket. She had the money, but she wasn't giving it up. And they didn't have enough time to do a primary. They didn't have enough time to put someone else in. It's all their fault because they put a brain dead, warm diarrhea brained Joe Biden in there in the first place. No,
and they have the nerve to talk about the 25th Amendment for Trump.
I know. I was just on. Well, this is what we get. So with AOC though, they would do the same thing they did to Kamala. They told her, "You shut your effing mouth. You're going to do what we tell you to do, and we'll allow you to be president." She went, "Okay," but she's an idiot. All right. So speaking Friday at the University of Chicago's Institute of Politics during a conversation with former Obama advisor David Axelhead, the progressive congresswoman insisted her focus is not on titles or elected office. No, not at all. Not her. Instead, the radical Democrat said she's focused on reshaping the country around left-wing policy priorities. Quote, "My ambition is to change this country." Yeah, to the worst. They assume that my ambition is positional. They assume that my ambition is a title or seat. It is. And my ambition is way bigger than that. No, good Lord. Let's see if that's the dumb thing.
You know, it's funny because in this op-ed that Jeff Bezos paid for in the Washington Post,
He owns both.
there was this line that you had mentioned earlier about as a potential 2028 contender, XYZ. And in the context of that, it was very clear this was a veiled threat, right? So it was the elite saying, if you want this job, you just stepped out of line.
Hold on. We got another one. Thank you, sir. Dave's Waffle House is a good channel to watch. Yeah, I know. I have him subbed. I should start watching. I know you guys talk very highly of him. Yeah. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it.
And we want you to know where the real power is. And it's in the modern day barons who own the Post and own the algorithms. And
see, when those modern day barons were donating to her, oh, they were wonderful people.
We'll make an example out of you.
Do you hear this shit? The Democrats, like Susan Rice a couple of weeks ago, we're going to go after all the corporations that bent the knee to Trump. Who the hell do you think you are talking like that? Now she's saying the same thing.
And what's funny about that is that they assume that my ambition is positional. They assume that my ambition is a...
Is it me, guys, or is she putting on weight? What do you think? It's getting heavy.
Title. Or
I don't care. I don't look at her that much.
No, I mean, she's putting on weight. What's up? Is she pregnant?
And my ambition is way bigger than that. My ambition is to change this country. And presidents come and go, Senate, House seats, elected officials come and go.
Oh, good Lord. Can you imagine? My ambition is much higher than that. She didn't tell us what I want to change the country. Okay. Lace Ween.
Yeah.
I know. Incorporation. She's putting on weight. Yeah. That's what I thought. Putting on weight. Guys, do me a favor, hit that like button if you haven't already. It helps us immeasurably. Thank you for being here. You know we love you all. You could have been anywhere tonight. You came with us. Thanks for hanging out, making me laugh again. You guys are the best chat around. I love you guys, man. Did you want something to say? Did I interrupt you, Jade?
Surprisingly, not this time.
Oh, okay. What do you mean, surprisingly? You had said something as I said something. And
I would have, if I was just probably going to say, have a great week and we'll see you next Friday.
Yeah, me too. Never. Yeah. All right, cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here. We love you. Watch my videos during the week. Please be here next week when we do it all over again. We'll have some other great stories and vids to play. Thank you, guys. Love you. Bye.